investigating Watson to determine if he violated its personal conduct policy. He's facing 22 civil lawsuits accusing him of inappropriate sexual conduct. Watson has denied all wrongdoing. NBA Celtics guard Marcus Smart dealing with a mid-foot sprain, questionable for the East Finals opener against the Heat tomorrow, 8 Eastern, ESPN Radio and ESPN TV. Then on Wednesday, the Mavericks and Warriors tip off the West Finals. Don't be surprised if Luka Doncic and company knock out Golden State, says Bally Sports Southwest Mavs analyst Derek Harper.
I like the Mavericks, man. I really do. I'm not just being a homer or whatever you want to call it. I think it's a good matchup for Dallas. And right now, if you're not expected to do anything, you do everything, right? There's no pressure on the Mavericks.
Derek Harper on Barton Hahn. West Finals Game 1 Wednesday, 8:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio. NHL Golden Knights fired coach Pete DeBoer. Vegas failed to make the playoffs for the first time after a barrage of injuries and salary cap problems created lineup issues.
If you need to hire, then you need Indeed. Their powerful hiring platform helps you schedule and conduct video interviews all in one place. Finding your next great hire has never been more streamlined. Get hiring at Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Cade Wazan.
Now, with Aaron Cofield, here's your host, Cade Wazan.
Oh, my God. It's the OG. And Mr. Toby Topley. Crank it up there, CB. Crank it up there, CB. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Make it a good one. Man, sorry. 1 second. I'm actually texting with Adam Miller. Okay, Adam Miller, by the way, will be with us in 30 minutes from right now. We had a lot to get to. Drew Brees' cryptic tweets. Could he possibly be returning? Dennis Allen did address that today. We'll get to that. Jeff Duncan 1 hour from right now. And as you just heard, Adam Miller in 30 minutes. So we'll talk with Miller, who on Friday made the announcement he's returning to LSU for next season, which is just massive for Matt McMahon and the LSU basketball program. So we had a lot to get to today, and glad to have you aboard with us today. Hopefully your Monday is going much better than your weekend did if you're an LSU baseball fan. Tigers, for the first time in program history, swept at home by Ole Miss. And Jay Johnson, after the loss on Sunday, was none too expressive after that game.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot really to say other than they have good players that played extremely well and made it really tough on us, and we did not play our best.
Oh, boy. What a massively disappointing weekend. You know, LSU and Ole Miss both went into this weekend with so much on the line. LSU at 14-10, Ole Miss at 10-14. LSU was in everybody's regional projections as a host site. Winning 2 games in this series would have made LSU a lock to host and would have kept alive an outside shot at a national seed. For Ole Miss, they swept Missouri a week ago. They were 7-14. They were out. They sweep Missouri. They beat Southern Miss on Tuesday. Then they come to the box at 10-14 in the league with an RPI around 50, trying to fight their way back into regional contention. Boom, boom, boom. 3-game sweep of LSU at the box. Now Ole Miss at 13 wins in conference. LSU at 14-13. And 2 programs that feel like right now are going in different directions. Teams, I should say, that feel like they're going in different directions. Let's talk a little bit about what happened out at the box this weekend. First of all, Ole Miss just played its best weekend of baseball. I think anybody that is a college baseball observer that's watched Ole Miss this year would point and say, they finally found something with Dylan DeLucia, who started the season in the bullpen. They moved him to the rotation, and he was awesome. Started the game that was suspended by rain on Friday, was there for the restart on Saturday, and he just absolutely mowed LSU's lineup down. The freshman lefty was really good in game 2, and Derek Diamond was in game 3 what he's been all year. A guy who can't get out of the 5th inning. But Ole Miss, the Bats followed, and the Bats were very good this weekend, and defensively they made all year. So you tip your cap. Ole Miss was very good, and LSU needed to be very good to combat that, and LSU just wasn't. And for the first time this year, and I'm certainly not hyperbolic. I'm not going to say it's the worst, this or that or whatever, but to the best of my knowledge, and I'd like to think that I watch as much LSU baseball as anybody, this was the first time it felt like every button Jay Johnson pushed over the weekend came up snake eyes. And I want to be very clear, Jay has been very, very good this year. Managing every situation the way he has had to put this team in the position that they were in through 24 conference games and 2 weekends to go with still an outside shot at a national seed. It's been amazing the way that he has managed this season, game by game, and the staff and everything. But it felt like everything they did this weekend just flat didn't work. From the decision to start Devin Fontenot in game 2, first inning, boom, boom, 2 solo homers. Even when he made a good decision, like with the bases loaded, bringing in Blake Money to face Elko, Money makes the pitch. He gets Elko to roll over one toward Doty at second, right between his legs. Doty kicks it, 2-run score. Boom, you have a big blow-up inning. Instead of being in the dugout and getting some momentum, that put game 2 away. The Dutton Hasty decision. Sam Dutton threw 1 pitch on game 3. And listen, after the game, they brought in Jacob Hasty. After the game, Jay Johnson explained the decision with Dutton throwing only 1 pitch.
That was the plan. He was going to face bench, and then Hasty was going to come in at Gonzalez. I felt like the way they had been swinging the bat, we needed every advantage that we could. So I did not want them to know really what we were going to do. And, that it didn't work out, obviously, because, we gave up a double on a first pitch curveball.
Gave up a double. You bring in Hasty, who steadied things after that. You were able to tie it, but even then, bringing in Raiselman where he did backfires, gives up 2 2-run homers in that situation. The bottom of the 6th, you have the bases loaded and Cranford up. That is a absolute pinch hit situation if ever there was one. Cranford gets a first pitch fastball. He's aggressive. I'm okay with that. But he was late, and he popped it up to the first baseman. That's a situation where, give me Travinsky's bat right there. Travinsky is absolutely a swing and miss candidate. He could strike out, but he could run into one and give you the lead. And now you've got Raiselman and Gervais and everyone you need behind them to try to protect that lead and get you a win. Everything this weekend didn't work for LSU. It doesn't mean they're a bad team. It doesn't mean Jay Johnson's a bad coach. It doesn't mean they're a bad team. It doesn't mean Jay Johnson's a bad coach. It just means you had a really bad weekend against a team that's playing really good baseball right now. And every one of LSU's flaws, the lack of a rotation, the defensive miscues, at times the offense, the swing and miss. LSU struck out again, way too much this weekend. As a team, they hit just 200 on the weekend. It just wasn't there, the ability to string together hits. And as a result, you scored only 9 runs, and all but 2 of them came via the home run. So it was just a bad weekend all around. I'd love to say, hey, you gotta just put this one aside and move on. That's obviously easier said than done, but you really don't have much of an option. Because now you got to go to Vanderbilt for a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. When I look big picture, here's what I'll tell you. And look, we can delve into more of the particulars of this series and what we feel like we know or how they adjust moving forward, especially if Jacob Berry's going to be out. But they're going to play Vanderbilt this weekend. LSU's RPI dropped to 37. So you drop more than 20 points over the weekend. And that's awful. That's a gut punch. But you've got 3 games this weekend against Vanderbilt, which is currently 3rd in the RPI. Vandy just won a series at Arkansas. So Vandy's currently 3 in the RPI. Playing those 3 games, plus whoever you play in the SEC tournament, that's going to take care of your RPI. Like, you're going to be fine there as far as the metrics go. No worries at all. Like, my point is, it's not to say that it's a certainty, but what is a certainty is playing those games is going to boost your RPI. So you have that opportunity to where that shouldn't be an issue. The real question is, can you get to 16 conference wins? And you were at 14 going into this weekend and thought was go get 2. Or even if you get 1, that's why Sunday was so critical. Even if you had just gotten the Sunday game, you go to Vanderbilt needing to scratch out 1 win. 1 win at Vanderbilt locks you in as a regional host. And they just couldn't get it. So now when you look ahead, LSU's got to do one of 2 things. If they're able to go to Nashville and win 2 games, they're a regional host. Go to Nashville, get 2 wins against the number 3 RPI team on the road, get to 16 SEC wins, you're a regional host. That's done. Or if you go to Nashville and get 1, then you got to go to Hoover and play yourself into the weekend. If you're able to play yourself into the weekend, that's going to be at least 2 really quality wins. And that should be enough. I'll remind you that the best comp that I could come up with would be 2014 LSU. Now, I don't think this is going to happen, but 2014 LSU was 17-11-1 in the SEC. 17-11-1. They went and won the SEC tournament and were a national seed. If you remember, they lost their home regional that year to Houston. That was Aaron Nola's final year. But the point is, you can do damage in Hoover, and whether it's fair or not, that tournament selection committee wants LSU to host. And again, this is not a homer take. Like, I've had enough of these conversations with committee members over the years. A Baton Rouge regional, that money goes to the NCAA. So they want a place like LSU where you're going to put 11,000 butts in seats. They want LSU to be a host. You just have to make the case. You have to make the compelling case. You have an opportunity this weekend, and then in Hoover, you made it very difficult. You made it much more difficult on yourself, but the opportunity is still there. Let's see if they can go get it. We'll talk plenty of LSU throughout the day. Jay Johnson did meet with the media earlier today. We'll get to some of that in the next hour as well. All right, it's after further review. Since Adam Miller just texted us, we're going to flip segments. So we'll come back. We'll do around the SEC, and then Adam Miller will join us bottom of this hour. Excited to have Adam Miller joining us. It was just a big part of Friday where he announced that, of course, he's returning to LSU, and Matt McMahon. It's a great get. We'll talk about some of all the particulars coming up here in a little less than 20 minutes from right now. Quick break. We're brought to you by Relief Windows. When we come back, we'll go around the SEC. Also, we now have the particulars about Jarvis Landry's contract with the New Orleans Saints, why that's significant. We'll get into it next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of LSU Athletics, and now proudly to announce the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. That is Rouse's, where this feels like home. Remember, at Rouse's, all of your tailgating goodies, they got them, of course. If you want your tailgate trays, if you want your party platters, if you want your grab and go, they've got tons of booze, and they've got a great beer section, all your domestics, and certainly your craft beers as well. You can find it all at Rouse's. You need dinner plans tonight, Rouse's Markets have got you covered as well. The deli's fantastic. They've got a great grab-and-go sushi if that's what you're looking for. They've got the hot and boiled seafood kiosks where if you want boiled crawfish, it's already bagged and priced. Grab it and go. It's at Rouse's, the official supermarket of LSU Athletics and the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Remember, at Rouse's, they have delivery and pickup options. So download the Rouse's app, place your order, boom, they'll bring it out to you when you get there. It's at Rouse's, where this feels like home.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hunt, and Hill, the early line. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit garciadidmyroof.com.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you. Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast.
Glad to have you back with us here on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows, Windows Door Siding, Relief Windows, and ReliefWindows.com. We'll go around the SEC here in just a quick second. Glad to have you aboard. Also, Brian Kelly did a one-on-one with Garland Gillen of Fox 8. I want to talk about a little what he had to say next hour. So we'll get into that. Ton to do today. We've got so much. LSU, Brian Kelly got a 4-star running back commit, which we'll get to. So, I mean, just so much stuff. Just buckle up and be with us here. And if you miss anything, remember, the AFR podcast, the show is now podcast via its own individual feed. We used to have all of our shows on one feed. Now go to iTunes, go to Spotify, search After Further Review, and subscribe up there. You'll see all of the AFR podcast feed. So we now know the terms of Jarvis Landry's contract with the New Orleans Saints, and it's stunning. I am thrilled, but equally surprised, as I was that Jarvis picked New Orleans. Ian Rappaport tweeted, Saints gave Jarvis Landry a 1-year deal with a base value of $3 million. He can earn another $3 million in incentives, mostly based on individual stats. Rappaport tweets, a good value option for New Orleans while Landry gets his 1-year deal that allows him to get paid again if he produces. So when you look into this offseason, one of the biggest storylines of this offseason in the NFL has been the wide receiver contracts. The guys that have gotten $20 million plus per year. If it's Tyreek Hill with the Dolphins, if it's Devontae Adams, you all know the list. You know the numbers. We've talked about it enough. And Jarvis wanted that. Jarvis wanted that type of money. He wanted $20 million plus. He's already gotten his first big contract, and he was looking for a second big contract, and it just didn't come. He didn't have that type of interest apparently, from the NFL at large to get that type of deal. So Jarvis apparently was willing to sign a prove-it type deal. This is phenomenal for the Saints. You get a guy who's a 5-time Pro Bowler, who's 29 years old, who has a lot of good football left, and is on a prove-it deal. Like, there is no better scenario than a guy who is playing for the next contract. Think of Trey Hendrickson in his 4th year in New Orleans, right before he got the giant contract with Cincinnati. That's what you want. You want a player in a prove-it year, in a contract year, and that's what you have here with Jarvis. You got a dude at 29 he had his rookie deal. He's got his one big contract he's already signed. Now he's on a 1-year prove-it deal, and he's hoping to get that next 3 to 5 year deal that's going to pay him market value for what great receivers in the NFL are getting right now. So it's to the Saints' benefit. I'll continue to reiterate. The surprise for me is that if you're a receiver in a prove-it year, you would want to go to a situation where you're going to have the opportunity to splash. I sincerely hope that's the case for Jarvis in New Orleans, obviously. I look at it, though, and I say, well, you got Mike Thomas, healthy now. You got first-round pick in Chris Olave. Alvin Kamara is going to get his targets. Sean Payton isn't here anymore, so there is a variable of unknown within what this offense will look like. And Jameis Winston's coming off of an injury, so we really don't know how he's going to be coming off the injury. I think, my opinion is, Jameis is healthy. We know he can spin it. He's already had a 5,000-yard season. Pete Carmichael has called plays 3 times in his career for the Saints as the primary play caller. Each of those years, the Saints were top 5 in the NFL in offense. I believe there's going to be so much opportunity in this offense that everybody's going to eat. I think it's going to look a lot like what the Rams did last year when you had Woods and Odell and Cooper Kupp, and you're just going to have a lot of dudes who on a given day, it's going to be their opportunity. I think that's kind of what the Saints or the Bengals last year, I think that's kind of what it's going to look like. So I think it's going to be fine. But if you're Jarvis and you're thinking financially and you're thinking about your professional opportunity, it would make sense that there's another spot. I mean, I would imagine that any of the teams we talked about, Atlanta, Baltimore, Green Bay, any of those places would have been happy to give Jarvis Landry a 1-year, $3 million deal. But there's also the question of you never really know the allure of being home and what that means for a player to be able to play at home and to be close to family. And Jarvis has that opportunity here. And the comp we've given a couple times is kind of like with Sony Michel making the decision to go play for Miami when he's the 3rd free agent running back to sign with the Dolphins this offseason. And the deal he got, the Saints or anybody would have been thrilled to give Sony Michel a 1-year, $2 million deal. But he perhaps just wanted to be closer to home, and maybe that's the same thing that happened here for Jarvis. So when you look at the Saints' offense, the other variable here that you can sort of parenthetically think about this is what if Michael Thomas isn't 100%? Like we haven't seen Thomas a full go since 2019 when he had the record-setting season. He played half of 2020, the COVID year, with the injury, and missed all of last year. So we haven't seen Michael Thomas be Michael Thomas in 2 years. So what is that really going to look like? I think he's going to be fine, but we don't know until we see it. So that is a fair question to ask. And Jarvis is a hell of an insurance policy. If you want that guy who's unafraid of going over the middle, got a great catch radius, strong hands, comes up with everything within 15 yards of the line of scrimmage, can make a guy miss, put his foot in the ground and get separation. I mean, that's a great insurance policy if Thomas isn't a full go. So for so many reasons, this just makes a lot of sense. And if you look at Spotrac, they've got the Saints now with $12 million still in cap space. That's, of course, after they've signed their draft picks and now having added both Tyrann Mathieu and Jarvis Landry, both on low cap numbers this year. The Saints still have money to spend. They've still got $12 million in cap space if they want to go add a running back, a defensive tackle. There's a need for starting caliber players still at certain positions on this team. Perhaps a tight end. We'll see how that all plays out. But the way they've been able to work this offseason to add quality players at positions of need in team-friendly and cap-friendly deals has been really well done. And it's why I look at the Saints and the Vegas over-under at 7.5 on this team, and I'm just absolutely, I can't place a bet quickly enough on the over, considering they won 9 games a year ago with 4 different starting quarterbacks. Yes, what will the loss of Sean Payton mean for this team? I don't know, and we'll see. We'll see how it manifests. But, boy, this roster is just so much better today than it was week 18 of the 2021 season. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEYE.com. We're going to go around the SEC. Adam Miller coming up here in just about 6 minutes or so. Remember, if you want to see 2020, call 924-2020, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEYE.com. Do what I did. Call Dr. Blake Williamson. Dr. Blake did my LASIK. I am thrilled. Still seeing better than 2020. Superhuman vision. It is possible. I never have to worry about contacts or glasses ever again. The same can be true for you, no matter your age or refractive issue. Call 924-2020 or WilliamsonEYE.com. All right, Adam Miller coming up, but first let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Missouri Tigers.
Former Louisiana Tech, Southern Miss, and Mississippi State quarterback, it's a mouthful, Jack Abraham. He's committed to Missouri. Abraham was Southern Miss's starter from 2018 to 2020. This will be his 7th season in college. He signed initially with Louisiana Tech in 2016. Mizzou, you might remember, missed on 3 Power 5 quarterback transfers over the last 3 months. Jaden Daniels, JT Daniels, and Jerry Bohannon. So now they've added Abraham for some veteran depth.
The Auburn Tigers.
Iowa State's Craig McDonald became the 7th transfer into the Auburn program here this offseason. Former 3-star recruit. McDonald is a redshirt freshman. He'll have 3 years of eligibility remaining. He's the 6th defensive back to join the Tigers through the transfer portal. Started 3 games for the Cyclones last season.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Former Toledo and Georgia wide receiver Matt Landers has committed to play for Arkansas in his final collegiate season. 6'5", 200 pounds. He's a former 3-star recruit, signed with Georgia back in 2017. Transferred to Toledo, where he played last season, but now will wrap up his college career at Arkansas. Hogs have now added 8 scholarship transfers this offseason.
The Florida Gators.
Bryce Lovett, 6'5", 330-pound offensive lineman, has picked the Gators, pledged to Florida over Iowa State, Louisville, and Missouri. 3-star prospect, ranked number 761 overall for the class of 2023. He is the 5th commitment for the Gators.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Kentucky landed its 6th commitment for 2023. It's edge rusher Tommy Ziesmer. He committed to the Wildcats, the 6th commit for 2023. 6'2", 220-pound edge rusher. He's a 3-star prospect, the number 522 overall player in the 247 composite. Had offers from a lot of places: Tennessee, Louisville, West Virginia, Purdue, Virginia, and others.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
And Tennessee was originally scheduled to open the 2023 season against BYU, but now Tennessee will open in Nashville at Nissan Stadium against Virginia. It'll be the 3rd time the Vols open a season at Nissan Stadium. This will be the first meeting between Tennessee and Virginia since the 1991 Sugar Bowl. Tennessee will serve as the designated home team for the game. There you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products, online at gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you get at Gulf Coast Office Products, the official office equipment provider of LSU Athletics, the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the ULL Raging Cajuns. All right, y'all, let me knock out a quick break. Come back. Talk to LSU combo guard Adam Miller. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Boy, it was hot out there this weekend. You've all felt it before. You've all felt what it's like to walk into your home when your AC doesn't work on a summer day. And that sucks. Let River City's 1 Hour Air help prevent that. Preseason AC tune-up. Call River City's 1 Hour Air for less than $100. They'll get your home central AC tuned up, cleaned up, running efficiently for the coming warm weather. Catch a minor problem before it becomes a major problem. River City's 1 Hour Air helps make that happen. Mention the Moscona special. They'll save you $25 off any system repair. River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001. Call them right now. 752-0001. They're standing by. 752-0001. Big yellow vans and trucks all over town with a giant clock on the side. You can't miss them. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
LSU got just massive news on Friday when combo guard Adam Miller announced that he will return to the program. Of course, was a much ballyhooed commit when Will Wade signed him as a transfer out of Illinois. We all know the story. Tore his ACL, didn't play for the Tigers this past year, entered the portal, but will play for Matt McMahon this coming season. Adam Miller is good enough to join us here for a couple of minutes. Hey, man, we appreciate some time. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine, man. I just got out the gym, actually. So,
very nice.
Living there.
Hey, I want to start with the immediacy and then kind of bounce around a little bit, but when did you make your decision that you were going to stay at LSU?
I believe it was, last Wednesday, I told both the coaches before I was going to, put it out there. So I did that, and then I believe I put it out Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Friday. Yep. So I had made the decision actually Wednesday. I had talked to both coaches personally before.
I guess you would have had to make the decision because you did a collab clearly with LSU for the announcement post with the gold uni. By the way, do you like the gold uni?
I do, actually. I really do.
Me too. They're a super fan favorite, but Will never wanted to wear them.
He had a very big superstition with them. He had a very big superstition. It was like he just didn't. I don't know. He only played like certain games in them, but yeah, he had a big superstition with them.
Why ultimately did you make the decision to return?
I think for me, I was telling some people about this the other day. I think it was, you know what I'm saying? It was kind of about comfortability, but you know what I'm saying? At any level with any work, you know what I'm saying? If you have to get up and leave, that's just, it is what it is. But for my mentals, and especially coming back from this injury, being here with Sean, our PT, and just, you know, battling and being here and watching and seeing the fans, I just wanted to do it from, you know, out of LSU.
When Will Wade was let go and Matt McMahon was brought in, even when you entered the portal, you still had the opportunity to practice and use the facilities and all that sort of stuff. How well during that time, from the time you entered the portal to now making the decision to stay, how well have you gotten to know Matt McMahon?
Oh, I gotten to know him really well. I mean, that was the big thing for me because it always was like, you know what I'm saying, I'm here already. So it's like, whatever happens, it was going to be something new. I was going to have to trust whatever coaching staff I was going to go with. And having them here and having them be able to see my work ethic and being able to see their seriousness about pouring into the team and the players, it just helped out and made me more comfortable making that decision. So I guess it played into LSU's favor in a way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what was his pitch? I guess. I mean, it has to almost feel like recruiting, right? So, what was his pitch to you to stay?
I believe his pitch was that, you know what I'm saying, I was going to be allowed to do what I do. And it really was like, he was like, you're not going to find another coaching staff who's going to pour into you as much as the coaching staff here is going to. And he was like, you're already loved here. He was like, the president, the university loves you. And he's like, the fans love you. And we just dove into basketball, and we talked about the players he's had and how he's let them, you know what I'm saying, play with freedom, how he allows his leaders to actually lead. And I don't know, we just had gotten many deep conversations, and it was like, it wasn't no normal conversation from like a senior on his, you know, he in high school on his visit. It was more of a, you know what I'm saying, okay, I've been through this process, so let's get to the real topics, you know.
He talked to you about John Morant?
Yeah, he did.
I'd imagine so. Like, do you see any comps, or did he see any comps when Ja was there at Murray and with what you are or could be at the college level?
You say any comps?
Comps, like a comparison. Do you compare to him?
Oh, it really was. See, that was his thing. He doesn't like to compare players. See, that was his thing. He just likes to see. He likes to talk about how, you know what I'm saying, his program has affected them. That's how he tried to, you know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Like how he tried to do it that way. He didn't really try to compare players. I don't know.
Adam Miller is with us. He's on Twitter at AceWolf44. Y'all make sure you follow him on all social media. Announce he's staying at LSU. You know, we haven't spoken to you since your injury. I mean, that was October.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Wow. Yeah, that's the first. I think that's the first time somebody asked me that. I was playing the scout team actually, and we were playing the scout team. We were working on zone offense, and I had a 3-pointer, man. I should have shot a 3. I had it, but I'm like, no, I want to get this over with. I'm putting this ball in the hole, so I turn it down. I drive left, crossover, go right, and they closed the gap. And I didn't know where to put my foot. I'm like, I'm about to roll my foot or charge one of them. So I kind of got scared, and and just put all my weight on my right, and I turned and I tried to elevate, and it just gave out on me. So I think it was because in that instance, I'm like, oh, what am I about to do? You know, that little, and I was worrying about my left ankle. The next thing you know, I tear my right ACL.
Did you know it right when it happened?
Nah, I got up, walked, and yeah, when it started swelling up, I knew it was something bad because when I was sitting waiting to get the MRI, that's when I knew it was bad. Then got the news. Doc gave me the news.
How do you feel now?
Shoot, I feel good, man. Like, I'm probably like 75, 80% where I want to be. Like, it's where I want to be, and where a doctor and a physical trainer and is different where I want to be. So like, I'm probably, no, I wouldn't even say, I'm probably, 75% where I want to be. But man, I just feel good. I'm able to work every day, so that's the biggest thing. Like, I've been in the gym nonstop, and I don't know, I just love being in the gym. It's like it's not even a hassle to me anymore. I just love being in the gym. So I'm just glad to be able to do that again.
Got a couple more minutes here with Adam Miller. I don't know if you even remember this, but you were kind enough to come on our show when you were in Latvia with Team USA, and it was like a midnight, but you took the call and you came on with us, which was really cool. But I remember talking to you then. I remember talking to you then because the way you had kind of explained, like the way that Will Wade wanted to use you and the way you were given the freedom sort of with Team USA was to score the basketball, which maybe you didn't have so much of that green light at Illinois. Have you had that kind of convo with Matt McMahon about that being your role next year on this team?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We already, you know what I'm saying? That's going to come. I mean, I feel like when you're a good player, the work is going to show at the end of the day. And because I feel like and it makes you a better player if you just make it happen. So, yeah, we've had those conversations. Like, I mean, he re-recruited me, so we've had those conversations. I've watched his games. I've watched his players. So, yeah, it's definitely going to, you know what I'm saying? I'm definitely going to be in position to score that ball.
I had two more things. Number one, you're, of course, recruited by Will Wade. So what was it like for you when the coach that recruited you was fired?
Man, I cried when I first heard it. Like, I cried. We were sitting in the locker room, and it was all weird. We're like, yo, why are we sitting here? Because a couple minutes passed by, and we just like, yo. And then we got the news, and it was like, dang. You know what I'm saying? Because I built so much trust into this coaching staff and this coach. And, you know what I'm saying, they helped me out so much through my injury. And then just to see them get laid off like that, it was kind of hard. Because now it's like, oh, I'm back at square one. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what am I about to do? But you know what I'm saying? Just like every day through every situation, stayed the course, kept working, worried about all I need to worry about was my injury. Because, you know what I'm saying, once I get 100%, it doesn't matter where I'm at. So
the last thing was about the looming potential sanctions. I mean, that's kind of part and parcel with this conversation. Did the possibility of LSU facing sanctions weigh in on your decision at all?
Yeah, it definitely did start. Like, it really, really did. Like, I was like, oh. But then my mom, it was like one time my mom was like, oh, are you still thinking about LSU? And I thought about it a little more when she said that. Y'all could thank my mom when she said that. Because it was just like so many schools were hitting me. It was just like I didn't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, what about LSU? And I'm like, dang, yeah, I'm here already. So I was like, I was in Chicago when she asked me this. So I was like, yeah. So I went back with a different mindset. And I just, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if it does postseason ban, I mean, I feel like we have a chance to go far in the SEC tournament. So, but I'm not worried about it.
So all the LSU fans have to send a Christmas card to your mom as a giant thank you for you being back here. That's awesome.
Thank you, Andrea Gary.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Adam Miller, you'll follow him on Twitter at AceWolf44, Instagram as well. Man, it's always a pleasure when we get a few minutes. Thanks for making some time. We'll be in touch, all right? Congrats on your decision. Get well.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, be well. That is Adam Miller. I really enjoy talking to him a lot. I think you could tell. But how about that, man? Says he's about 75% right now. Wasn't really even thinking LSU until his mom said, what about LSU? And all the sort of the equity that he has built up here. He's going to be a fan favorite. I mean, I don't know, maybe another day we can get deeper into the conversation about what last season would have looked like. We can get into the conversation with Adam about what last season might have looked like had he been available to play. But it's water under the bridge. It's spilled milk at this point. But we're going to get an opportunity to see. We're going to get an opportunity to see him play in the purple and gold, which I'm fired up for. It's a major get for Matt McMahon getting that dude to stay here. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break and come back and wrap up our number one. LSU football got a 4-star running back commit over the weekend. We'll talk about that next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Tell you every single day, buy local, shop local. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area: Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. I do not mind telling you this. You can laugh at me if you like, but we are at the Moscona household. We are giant fans of Dippledinas, and Clegg's has a gorgeous selection. They are incredible summer flowers. They bloom, they're colorful and beautiful, and they last. I mean, you got to water them, but I mean, like those things are troopers through a Louisiana summer. Go find your favorite summer flower or plant right now at Clegg's. They've got full greenhouses and certainly a helpful staff that can answer all of your questions. It's at Clegg's Nursery. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. I tell you every day, buy local, shop local. Be sure to tell them Matt sent you in at Clegg's Nursery.
Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra.
Come on over to Corval Toyota to pre-order your next vehicle. It's an easy and stress-free process. Browse, reserve, pick up, and enjoy. It's that simple. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
after further review with Matt Moscona. Presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Wrapping up hour number one. Glad you're with us here. Again, thanks to Adam Miller for a couple of minutes. We will talk to Jeff Duncan in 10 minutes from right now. I want to dive deeper into what Drew Brees tweeted. Sean Payton joining Fox. Rookie minicamp this past weekend. A ton to get to with Jeff Duncan, the guy who literally wrote the book on Peyton and Brees. I mean, literally. He's got a book about Drew Brees and Sean Payton and their offense. So who better to ask about those two and what's going on than Jeff Duncan? That's in 10 minutes from right now. Brian Kelly kick-started what we hope is a recruiting hot streak over the weekend. Got a commitment from 4-star running back Trey Holly out of Union Parish here in Louisiana. He was the most outstanding player in the 3A state championship game as a junior. He has rushed so far for 7,829 yards in 3 seasons and 108 touchdowns. He's on pace to break Nick Brissett's LHSAA career rushing and touchdown records. He averages 8.5 yards a carry so far in his career. So we've talked so much, and Brian Kelly has talked so much about recruiting the state of Louisiana, about keeping the best players in Louisiana or from Louisiana in Louisiana. And this is another example of that with Trey Holly. And so there's two things to keep in mind kind of whenever you look at the running back spot. Number one, it's, all right, who's going to be here in 2023 and how potentially will Trey Holly fit into what Brian Kelly and his staff want to do? So when you look at the running back position to begin with, of course, in 22, you'll have John Emery, Noah Kane, Trey Bradford, Armani Goodwin, and you'll have Josh Williams as well. So those right now kind of make up the core of your running back room. Realistically, John Emery is in his last year of eligibility. I guess he could use a COVID year. He could take another, but that's unlikely. You have Noah Kane, who could very well leave after this year as well for the draft. And then Bradford and Goodwin, we've already seen Trey Bradford transfer once to Oklahoma, then return. And Armani Goodwin came in a year ago, and depending on what opportunity might be there, we'll see if he even returns. Remember, Corey Kiner has already transferred out of that room because of the depth and the opportunity. So running back is one of those spots where you've absolutely got to recruit at least one running back in every cycle because of the nature of that position. So you look at Trey Holly. This is a guy at 5'8", 180 pounds, so a smaller running back. And he's right now the sixth commitment now for LSU's 2023 cycle. They got Mac Markway, the tight end, already committed for 2023. Ryan Yates, the safety out of Texas. Amarian Miller, the wide receiver out of Louisiana. Dalen Austin, cornerback out of California. Trey Holly, the running back, as we just mentioned. And then Michael Doherty, the safety out of Georgia. So those are the 6 that they have committed right now. Holly is very interesting to me. And again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you like I've studied his film and know about him stylistically. But what I do know is at 5'8", 180, he doesn't look like running backs that Brian Kelly has had at Notre Dame. When you run through the list, the one that actually most resembles Holly is Kyron Williams, the guy who just finished up at Notre Dame, 5'9", 199. You don't need to memorize this or anything, but just keep in mind the size of these backs. Tony Jones Jr., 5'11", 224. Dexter Williams, 5'11", 212. Josh Adams, 6'2", 225. Tarian Folston, 5'10", 214. CJ Prosai, 6', 220. George Atkinson III, 6'1", 220. Big backs. Brian Kelly has had big running backs at Notre Dame. He's not had the dude that's 5'8", 180. So it's interesting. And we'll learn this in time. I don't know the answer. None of us know the answer yet, but we'll learn it in time. Number one is this just a situation where that's one of the top 10 players in the state of Louisiana and you have got to keep the best players from your state in state? Or maybe we see a shift with Mike Denbrock's influence. Do you have maybe the smaller, shiftier back. Now, 5'8", 180, he could be like Clyde when he puts on weight. He's got a really strong lower body and grows into that frame and develops more power. Could. We'll see in time. But it's going to be very interesting to watch, especially in 2022, how they use that stable of running backs they have. That could be sort of a glimpse into a window of how they plan to use a guy like Trey Holly moving forward. But Trey Holly becomes the 6th commit for LSU's 2023 class, pledging over the weekend of Brian Kelly and his staff. All right, it's after further review. Also over the weekend, of course, Drew Brees tweeted that he may be returning to football. What? A guy who knows him well is Jeff Duncan, and Jeff Duncan's going to join us coming up right after the top of the hour. We're glad to have you aboard with us here on AFR. We're presented by Relief Windows, of course, windows, door, siding, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. Jeff Duncan coming up right after the top of the hour. Don't you move.
AFR.
Man, shockers in the NBA playoffs yesterday, especially with Dallas blowing out Phoenix. But, y'all, the NBA playoffs are in full swing right now, and our friends at DraftKings, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, they are giving you, a new customer, the opportunity to win big with the NBA playoffs. Bet just $5 on any team and get $150 in free bets if they do. You can turn a small bet into a big payday with same-game parlays, but make sure, whatever you do, make sure you use the promo code Baton Rouge. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use the promo code Baton Rouge, bet just $5 on any NBA team to win their playoff game, and get $150 in free bets if they do. Again, use the promo code Baton Rouge. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Availability varies by parish. Eligibility restrictions apply. Minimum $5 deposit. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full terms and conditions. Licensee partner Gold Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem, call 1-877-770-STOP. It's the DraftKings Sportsbook code Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Kids have staked out their place at Ochsner Medical Complex The Grove, where more than 30 pediatricians and pediatric specialists are all conveniently located under one roof, so you can spend less time driving and more time keeping your kids well. Yes! It's no wonder kids call dibs at The Grove. Ochsner Health Center for Children.
The 2022 Smoke 'em If You Got 'em, presented by Mockler Beverage, is almost here. Smoke 'em If You Got 'em is an event that raises money to support military veterans and their families. Tickets are $100, and this year's event benefits the Special Forces Charitable Trust. Come enjoy live music, a grill station, a cigar station, a dessert station, a live and silent auction, and so much more. It's the 2022 Smoke 'em If You Got 'em fundraiser, presented by Mockler Beverage, Sunday, May 22nd at Ben 77. Learn more at smokeembr.com.
This year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but 2 NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, front-to-back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to front-to-backboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front-to-Back Boat Service.
Visit Acura of Baton Rouge for attractive offers on the MDX.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The NFL set to meet with Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson this week. The league's been investigating to determine whether he violated the personal conduct policy. He's facing 22 civil lawsuits alleging sexual misconduct. Watson has denied all wrongdoing. NBA Celtics guard Marcus Smart questionable for Game 1 of the East Finals tomorrow against the Heat with a foot sprain. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports Smart underwent an MRI today. The imaging returned clean. Boston only needs Smart to be at about 50% to win the series, believes ESPN's Kendrick Perkins.
Talk about the emergence of Jason Tatum, right? He's become the best two-way player in the game today. And the way that he's defending, we know that he could get buckets. The way that Jaylen Brown is doing his thing, always been a two-way defender. And the way that Ime Udoka's system is set up, it's kind of like plug and replace, next man up. And it's not taking Marcus Smart for granted.
Boston Miami Game 1 tomorrow, 8 Eastern, ESPN Radio and ESPN TV. NHL, the Golden Knights fired coach Pete DeBoer. The Golden Knights missed the playoffs for the first time after a barrage of injuries and salary cap issues.
Feeling great starts with a great shave. And great shaves start with Barbasol Shaving Cream. And for a limited time only, capture your Barbasol Jurassic World collector cans before they're gone.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Cade Wazan.
You know, Cade has a very strong leg.
We're here. Mr. Toby Tomplay, by the way. Excuse me. Forgive me. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Had a ton going on. If you missed Adam Miller last hour, LSU guard announced he's staying with the Tigers. He was with us just about 30 minutes ago. You can catch that on demand at 1045ESPN.com, iTunes, Spotify. Just search After Further Review. You'll see it there. So Drew Brees sent the football world a Twitter this weekend with a tweet that you might consider returning to football. I figured who better to ask than a guy that quite literally wrote the book on Peyton and Brees, Jeff Duncan of NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune. Good enough to join us here. Jeff, thanks as always for the time, man. How are you?
Doing good, Matt. How's it going, buddy?
Very well, thanks. So you saw Drew Brees' tweet, and your immediate thought was?
He must be a little upset. That's the first thing I thought. Because if you know Drew, he doesn't necessarily do anything kind of impulsive. That's not the way he reacts. But that's reading between the lines of that message that he wrote. It definitely came across as he was not happy with how things got out yesterday. I didn't think twice about football. The pickleball line right there should have alerted everybody that he was having fun. But I thought more about he wasn't happy that NBC News somehow leaked that information out.
So to be very clear, do you think Drew Brees will ever play football again professionally?
No. I don't know who would think he would. The main reason he left the NFL, the reason he retired, if anybody was at any of his press conferences or saw any of the reaction, was to spend more time with his family. When he got into the TV business, I think he thought he was going to have more time, and it actually took more time than he expected away from his family. So as I understand it, talking to people close to Drew, I haven't talked to Drew about this part of the job, but he went to NBC and wanted more time with his family, and they could not really make that happen with the studio gig. He wanted more games. They don't have a very large inventory of games. So they had a mutual parting of the ways because NBC doesn't really have the gig that can fit what he wants to have time with his family. So why, Matt, would he go back into football, which is going to take more time away from his family than even the TV gig? It's ludicrous, and I don't know. I shouldn't be amazed at what happens with social media today, but I kind of am.
He's on Twitter, by the way. That's a great segue to mention your social media, at Jeff Duncan _. Y'all make sure you give Jeff a follow. And, of course, the book is Peyton and Brees. The guy who quite literally wrote the book on those two men and the greatest offense in NFL history. Okay, so Drew Brees, you and I, for the sake of this conversation, are going to assume he's going to stay retired. He's not coming back to the NFL. What then should we make of the offseason moves, bringing in a guy like Jarvis Landry and drafting Chris Olave, and what that's going to mean for this offense and for Michael Thomas?
Well, I think what it tells you is Mickey Loomis is doing everything in his power to give Dennis Allen, first-year head coach, who Mickey Loomis obviously has hired, he's given him every chance to be successful. I think he wants Dennis Allen to get off to the right foot in his tenure with the New Orleans Saints. We know his record was not good in Oakland. We know that Saints fans loved Sean Payton. And I think Mickey Loomis is saying to him behind closed doors, hey, I'm going to give you a chance to get off on the right foot differently than what happened to you in Oakland. And he's doing, I think, a superb job of that, because I think this roster's, look, it's not the best in the NFL. I don't even think it's a top 5 roster, but it's certainly good enough if things go well to make a playoff run.
Jeff, I'm really surprised. I mean, Vegas has their total right now at 7.5. That feels very low to me. I mean, admittedly, I'm looking through a black and gold prism, but this roster does seem good enough to be a playoff roster. Where's the holes? What am I missing?
Well, I think there's depth concerns, and we always know there's going to be injuries. I mean, look at last year. Sure. If Jameis Winston goes down, I mean, how confident do you feel about, Andy Dalton leading this team? Winston, we don't know 100% going to come back what he was before, because he had a severe knee injury. And look, I think sometimes, Matt, we all fall victim of this. Name players like Tyrann Mathieu, like Jarvis Landry, beloved LSU players. But there's a reason they were on the market as long as they were. There's a reason they signed for much less than they thought they were going to sign for. They did not have huge markets around the league. Jameis Winston did. So either the Saints are smarter than everyone else, or we're going to find out, because I really believe that the rest of the country is either sleeping on the Saints or they know something that we here in the 504 don't know.
He's on Twitter at Jeff Duncan _. Jeff Duncan's with us for a couple more minutes. Incredibly, unless if I'm missing something somewhere, the Saints still have about $12 million in cap space. Where else are they going to spend that, Jeff? And are we assuming they are going to spend that?
Well, they got a couple of areas they could spend if they want, but I think they will sit on that for a while. They might bring in another veteran running back. I think we need to ask the question. I haven't had a chance to get with Loomis to find out if they know something we don't know about Alvin Kamara's situation, the reason they have not really addressed running back this offseason. So that's a spot, Matt, they could address. Maybe a veteran backup lineman. I saw that they brought one in today or signed one today. They could provide some experience depth, but there's not a lot left. And you got to remember that they have to have some wiggle room there for the season once injuries occur and you have to bring in other players. So it wouldn't surprise me if they try to keep it where they're at, because that was a goal of Mickey Loomis this offseason, was to get the cap in order. I know we all talk about how great they are at the cap, but the fact is they've had to let a lot of good players go in the last 2 years because of their cap management. Guys like Teron Armstead and Marcus Williams, they really couldn't compete for because they were so tight. So there are ramifications to the way the Saints have done business.
Part of that is in compensating has been some of the draft moves that they've had to make, and they've lost some draft capital because of the moves they've made. And there's some thought, Jeff, that they might be able to recoup some because of Sean Payton. Now, Peyton added to his Twitter header the Fox Sports logo, so we're all going to assume now that Sean Payton is going to work for Fox Sports. But if he gets back into coaching, we know that a team is going to have to trade for Sean Payton and compensate the Saints, likely with draft capital. Jeff, I don't know if you have any insight here, or do you have a feeling, knowing Sean Payton like you do, what's going on between his ears?
Well, look, I was with him Saturday night. He spoke at the Loyola University commencement, and he told me he was going to Fox. It's just a matter of when they were going to announce it. So I don't even think they've officially announced it yet. But he's going to go to those meetings this week out in Las Vegas, so he's on board. That I'm sure of. Now, what I'm not sure of is how long is that going to keep him interested. I think he's going a little stir-crazy already, playing a lot of golf. He's traveling. I just know how he's wired, Matt. I'll be surprised if he stays on the sidelines away from the game longer than a year. I think he wants to be in the arena. I know he does. I think this has been good for him. He sounded great. He looked great. I think he's having a good time. But after a year of doing TV and playing golf, I think something will come along that will interest him. I don't think he knows yet. I don't think there's some grand plan. I just think he feels confident that that'll happen. But it has to be the right situation for him to go back into coaching. He's just not going to go to some startup with bad ownership or dysfunctional management. That's not going to be of interest to him. I'm sure of that.
Is a follow-up on Sean Payton. Do you believe that in some way, maybe Mickey Loomis and his willingness to do the draft trade with the Eagles to move next year's first had this in the back of his mind, knowing that they might actually be able to recoup a pick next year because of Sean Payton?
Oh, I'm sure they've thought about it. Now, whether that was part of the motivation, I don't think so, but I'm certain, knowing Mickey, there's no stone unturned with that. And here's another thing to think about, Matt. One of the reasons why they waited to sign Matthew and Landry was it would not count against their compensatory draft formula for next year. So they think of all those things. That will not go into the formula of free agents signed when they compute it next year. So it should help the Saints by losing Teron Armstead and Marcus Williams. They should recoup at least one third-rounder, maybe more, next year. So, again, they think of these things and certainly factor it in.
He's just one of the best. He's Jeff Duncan. He's on Twitter at Jeff Duncan _, because if you don't follow at Jeff Duncan _, you're going to get isn't like a politician or somebody that's another Jeff Duncan. There's a lot. There's
Correct,
a lot. There's a lot of you out there. A lot of you Jeff Duncan. So make sure you follow the right one and check out the book as well. Peyton and Brees, the men who built the greatest offense in NFL history. All right, Jeff, we appreciate it, man. Thanks so much for making a few minutes.
Yeah, Matt. Anytime, buddy. Take care.
All right, I appreciate you. Good stuff from Jeff Duncan there. So talked to Sean Payton over the weekend. Thinks ultimately Sean will be back in somewhere likely next year, and does not believe in any way that Drew Brees will ever play football again. A guy who the guy who quite literally wrote the book on Peyton and Brees. So knows him well. An interesting perspective. We appreciate a couple of minutes here with Jeff Duncan. Let me knock out a quick break. Baseball Tigers dropped the series over the weekend. Jay Johnson did meet with the media earlier today after being swept, updating his team on a short week before they play Northwestern State and then travel for a 3-game series Thursday, Friday, Saturday against Vanderbilt. Ton to do. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. That's the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Of course, their express care locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area. That's 7-day-a-week walk-in urgent care at the Baton Rouge General Express Care location. So you can go to the website at brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. You can check in online. You can check wait times as well. That's the Baton Rouge General Express Care locations. Dutchtown, right next to Dutchtown High School. Highland Road, just through the south gates of LSU. And Nicholson, which is directly across from Tiger Stadium. If you need a COVID test or an x-ray, EKG, if it's nausea or nasal congestion, stitches, sprains, and strains, they do it all there at the Baton Rouge General Express Care locations. brgeneral.org for the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Online, learn more at brgeneral.org.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $5,000 off the new 2022 Wagoneer. We have Wagoneers in stock with $5,000 off. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou is going to do right by you. crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
We need to play better. The winning's obviously why we're doing this and what we want to do with it, but for me, it's way deeper than that in terms of the attitude, concentration, effort, and play, with guys that I know can play well. So, I'll put my energy and effort towards that tonight and then let the result take care of itself.
That was Jay Johnson after a really disappointing weekend out at the box where LSU was swept by Ole Miss, a weekend where, boy, LSU had just a lot on the line and it didn't work out. If you're here when we started the show today in hour one, we kind of went through some of the decisions that just came up snake eyes. And that's baseball. I always say that with respect to a strategic decision in baseball, you're talking about a sport where, and you know this old adage, you fail 70% of the time, you're in the Hall of Fame. So a game that is centered so much around failure, I can handle the result not going your way as long as there was sound logic behind why you did something. And I think for Jay Johnson, that's been the case largely this year, even when things haven't worked out. This was just such an odd one-off where nothing worked. Nothing worked. Let me not say nothing. Going to Ty Floyd with the resumption of game one on Saturday, he gave you 6 innings, and that saved your bullpen, which had you feeling really good going into games 2 and 3, thinking, okay, that stunk because of the way it went, but We got everybody at our disposal now for 2 games. Let's see if you can go piece together 18 innings and win this series. But starting Fontenot in game 2, boom, boom, 2 homers in the first inning, you're down. You bring in Riley Cooper, boom, he gives up a homer. I mean, it just everything that they did, the Dutton hasty decision game 3, it didn't work. I mean, everything they tried just didn't work this weekend. Maybe it felt a little desperate, whatever. It just didn't work. So you flip it on its head and you try to come back this week and see if you can go to Vanderbilt and take 2 games. Listen, there's a lot of people that are frustrated and understandably so, and it's kind of silly that I've actually had to answer the question like, is Jay Johnson the right guy for the job? It's baseball. I mean, LSU got swept at home last year by Vanderbilt. I mean, you lose series. They got swept earlier this year by Arkansas. Well, they also earlier this year went on the road and won a series against Florida, and they won a series against Georgia. I mean, there's, when we were disappointed earlier when they lose the home series to A&M, come to find out, A&M now with 1 weekend ago is leading the SEC West. I mean, it's just, it's baseball. People don't love to hear that, but it is true. So the great thing about it is you get to play again. Jay Johnson was adamant today when he met with the media that LSU will play Northwestern State tomorrow. If you haven't heard, there's been this growing number of teams that have opted not to play their midweek game. Started with Texas A&M, who last week announced Jim Schlossnagle announced they will not play Incarnate Word tomorrow night because A&M is a team that, just won 3 games. They just swept Mississippi State, but that's a team that's being very thoughtful about its RPI and its hosting opportunities and all that stuff. Well, Schlossnagle has to be aware of that and didn't want to hurt his RPI, so they decided not to play the game against Incarnate Word. Win or lose, that's the point, is just playing that game would have dropped their RPI. Well, TCU now is not playing its midweek game. Texas State is not playing its midweek game. So there was some thought, would LSU play Northwestern State? Jay Johnson was adamant that they will play the game. And I like that decision. Like I know we have the silly midweek game argument here a lot, but I just think this team needs to go feel what it's like to play good again and to get some confidence, especially offensively. Because right now, without Jacob Berry in the lineup, it is evident how it affects you, how it affects your team. And I know you've got 9 guys in the batting order, and while Berry is your leading hitter, he's just 1. But it's also, it has a domino effect, not only for the situations that your hitters are in, but how other teams pitch to you. For example, Dylan Cruz gets the 2-run homer on Friday in the first inning. They didn't pitch to him again. He walked 3 times in game 2 because he didn't have Jacob Berry standing right behind him. If Dylan Cruz is in the 3-hole and Jacob Berry's batting right behind him, and then K. Doty follows, and then Trey Morgan follows, you got to make a decision. You got to make a decision who you're going to pitch to. There aren't holes in the lineup. Well, when you take Jacob Berry out, now you can say, well, I'm not pitching to Dylan Cruz. I'm going to make K. Doty beat me. Well, K. Doty was 0 for 11 this weekend. He's batting 150 over the last 2 weeks. It's a slump. K. Doty's a great baseball player. I mean, he's going to be a top 2 or 3 round pick in this summer's draft, and he's going to play in the major leagues and be a really good player for a long time. He's just going through a slump. It happens to literally everyone who has ever played the game of baseball. And so it happens to be right now that K. Doty's going through a little bit of a slump when he's supposed to be giving Dylan Cruz protection in the lineup with Jacob Berry out, and he's not been able to do that. I mean, in Game 3, we saw K. Doty try to bunt for a hit, which, by the way, as much as I talk about I hate bunting, I'm okay if you bunt for a hit or score a run. K. Doty was trying to drag bunt for a base hit because the third baseman was playing deep, and he was going to pop one down the third base line and take his base. And he bunted it right back to the pitcher and was out. It's your 4-hole hitter trying to bunt for a hit. I mean, that's perspective on the effect it's had on the lineup. So, and with Berry out, obviously, it's meant Collier Cranford's played third, and Cranford is an out. I mean, he did have the liner yesterday that the outfielder couldn't come up with. I don't know if they ruled it a single and an error, if they ruled it a triple, however they did, but he ended up on third base. But and he hit a couple balls hard this weekend, but Cranford is a is a sub-200 hitter for his career. We know what he is. There's a large enough sample size to know what he is, and that's okay. Like, if you're going to be a premium glove, you'll sacrifice offense for a premium glove in spots, usually not for a third baseman, but you don't really have a choice right now with Berry out. So you have this trickle-down effect and how Berry's absence affects kind of everything that they're trying to do, and how you piece together the lineup. And it was evident this weekend. It was very evident by the fact that you scored 9 runs over 3 games against a team that really has struggled to pitch it this year. So it was very disappointing how it all played out. But LSU does have a lot in front of it. Now, one other thing that Jay Johnson said yesterday, can you play number 3 from yesterday, CV? This was a pretty big nod that Jay Johnson gave to Ole Miss after the game.
We need to really look at this thing hard. It's one of those games or one of those teams where the way they're going right now, and I knew this coming in, like, as I was preparing for this week, like, this is the best team that we have played in the SEC at this juncture in terms of how they're playing, the talent that they have, the way they're pitching, the way they're hitting. So, Scooter, I need to make really good decisions of how we started off and who we go to from there and all of those things to give ourselves a chance to stay in the game.
Said Ole Miss right now, the way they're playing is the best team that they faced all year. That's a mouthful. And you faced A&M. You faced Georgia. You faced Arkansas. You've played some really good baseball teams. I mean, you played Texas when they were number 1 in the country before they had all of their injuries. So, yes, listen, Mike Bianco has found this isn't an Ole Miss show, and I don't think you all care about Ole Miss, but Mike Bianco has found something with moving Dylan DeLucia to the Friday night role. The freshman lefty in Game 2 has been really good. That's back-to-back weeks he's been the SEC Freshman of the Week. And Derek Diamond, who's started the season as their Friday night guy, is a serviceable number 3. He's never going to get you past 5. He hasn't gone past the 5th inning at any point this year, but if he gets you 4 innings, gets you 12 outs, 12 to 15 outs, and you're in the ball game, that's what you want from a Sunday guy, and he's done that for him. So, yes, Ole Miss is stabilized, and LSU is kind of fighting it a little bit, in part due to injury and some inconsistent play. But what I would really like to see is moving forward, and we'll see this weekend what they do, but McHale's your Friday night guy. I would love to see Jacob Hasty start Game 2. And I totally understand if you're Jay Johnson, you're thinking, okay, I could start Hasty Game 2, but if I use him out of the pen, I can get him for multiple games. And that's true. Or you can have a weekend like this when you're playing from behind and you never go in the first 2 games to your better arms because you're not going to burn a good arm out of the pen when you're losing. Well, if you don't get the chance to use them, then what's the point? I mean, I get it. It's a chicken or the egg conversation. But if you can get off to a good start, like you heard him say there, you get off to a good start with McHale on Friday, with Hasty on Saturday, and with Dutton on Sunday, who's proven he can get you 9, 12 outs on a Sunday. That's a stabilizing opportunity that allows you to make it a bullpen game where you're good against anybody in the SEC, and then you see if you can swing a hot bat. So would love to have great news that Jacob Berry's coming back. I don't know when that will come or if that will come. Certainly I'm hopeful, but until then, you're going to have bats other than Dylan Cruz step up. We'll wait for an update on Gavin Dugas as well, who slammed into the wall on that first pitch double by Ole Miss on Sunday in Game 3. But you need to go play well tomorrow. You need to get some feel-good, get some mojo before you head up to Nashville to take on Vanderbilt Thursday, Friday, Saturday, with a lot on the line. All right, it's after further review. Let's see. Lots still to get to here. When we come back, Brian Kelly gave a one-on-one with Garland Gill on Fox 8. A couple of interesting things he said that I want to delve into. We'll get to that. We'll have Tigers in the Pros later this hour as well. And thanks to Jeff Duncan, who was with us in the first segment of this hour. But I do have my thoughts on the Drew Brees tweets and the Sean Payton going to Fox. We'll get to that in about 45 minutes from right now. Ton to do, and glad to have you aboard with us here. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR. It's a raving fan shout-out, presented by Darren James & Associates, brokered by eXp Realty.
This time, the honors go to John Dart, who sold and purchased his new home through Darren James and Troy Fuselier on Darren's team. They were at the closing table this past Friday. This was one that had some challenges, but together they made it happen. I tell you all the time about Darren James. And the thing with Darren James that differentiates him from every other realtor is the thing that differentiates the Ritz-Carlton from every other hotel. It's service. It's the doorman in a top hat. It's the friendly staff always there to greet you any time of day or hour of the day. All the amenities. That's Darren James. You have a first-class experience every single time. So call Darren James and get your home sold.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys. For those...
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, rolling along. Glad to have you aboard with us here. A little bit of breaking news from Kendall Rogers over at D1 Baseball. Tulane has parted ways with head coach Travis Jewett. Athletic director Troy Dannon met with Jewett and the team today at 4 o'clock to announce the decision. So one of the premier head coaching jobs in the state of Louisiana is open with respect to baseball. Obviously, when you look at LSU, beyond that, the programs that have had elite level success at times, Tulane has made trips to Omaha, ULL has made trips to Omaha. A lot of programs have done very well, obviously. That is going to be interesting to see what type of interest they draw for that Tulane job. And I don't know anything. I'm not telling you that I have any breaking news or any insight into this, but what I do know is that Dan Fitzgerald, who is on the LSU staff, is a guy who came here from Dallas Baptist and has already gotten interest in other head coaching jobs. So that's a guy that is going to be up for head coaching jobs. The question is, what job does he want and who can afford him? It's unlikely that he would leave his situation at LSU to take a lower level job and a pay cut and all that sort of stuff just to be a head coach, because he will have really good opportunities. Does he wait for that lower level Power 5 or lower level SEC opportunity, or one of those really good mid-major opportunities that has facilities and resources and all that sort of stuff where you can win? I'll be very interested to see what direction Tulane goes in their search for Travis Jewett's replacement. So Travis Jewett, he's out at Tulane. Kendall Rogers breaking that news just a bit ago. Brian Kelly sat down and did a one-on-one with Garland Gillen of Fox 8 down in New Orleans. I believe this happened during one of the Tiger Tour stops. It appeared that way, and they had about an 8-minute conversation. You can go watch that interview in its entirety there at the Fox 8 website. Garland did a really good job with it. And some of the conversations that they had and talking points that they had were pretty obvious. But the thing that stood out, I'll get to a lot of it, but the thing that stood out most to me was when Garland asked Brian Kelly about Kayshon Boutte, because we all remember this now. When Brian Kelly had his pre-spring press conference, he was pretty adamant talking about guys that struggled in the transition, and he pointed out Kayshon Boutte very clearly and specifically pointed out Boutte as someone who kind of needed to fall in line. Well, this, in a sense, the way Garland asked him the question was kind of, how special can Kayshon Boutte be in this offense? But that's not exactly the direction that Brian Kelly took the answer when given the open door to talk about his star receiver.
Look, I think everybody knows I shot one across his bow, if you will, because I think he needed to be more engaged. And you know what? He got it. And I'm excited about what he can do. He's in the training room every day. He's engaged. During spring, he was out there helping the younger players. He's moving around. I think he's poised based upon his ability to now really understand how important it is to be part of this, that he can have a breakout season. Now, I'm excited to see him get on the field.
Remember, we haven't even seen Kayshon Boutte yet in a full 12-game season. He broke out late in the COVID year after we saw, obviously, Jamar Chase had opted out, and then Terrace Marshall opted out, and then Eric Gilbert opted out. And then late in that season, it was really like the final couple of games where in 2020, boom, where Boutte popped and went off. And then we saw him for half of last year, and then he broke his foot. So we haven't even seen full season Kayshon Boutte. So when Brian Kelly says Kayshon Boutte can have a breakout year, that may sound a little bit like lip service, like we already know what that guy is. And we do as a prospect. As a projectable prospect, we know what the NFL thinks about Kayshon Boutte. He's going to be one of the first receivers taken in next year's draft. But we would certainly like to see him maximize his time and his opportunity at LSU. Now, a big part of that will obviously be who is throwing him the football in this offense. They came out of spring without having named a starting quarterback. And the way that was kind of asked was about potentially, in not naming a starter, does that basically help you keep all of these guys engaged? Because had you named a starter, obviously someone might transfer out. Here was what Brian Kelly had to say.
Well, certainly that's unintended consequences of that. I don't think we went in there with that game plan that let's get this thing muddied so nobody can transfer. Here's what happened. We needed to put a new offense in. And that offense really needed to take precedent over fitting it towards any one particular quarterback. And the reality is each one has a different skill set. So what will happen now is that when we go into camp, the real work begins because we're going to have to fit the offense to each one of their skill sets. So the separation will take place in preseason camp.
So separation in preseason camp. The one question, and listen, we've talked about this enough. I understand that, and certainly you could argue that's an unintended consequence that no one will transfer. The separation happening in preseason camp is obvious, but the question is when in preseason camp. I'll keep referring to 2018 because it's the thing that we have as an example. It's the thing that we kind of know, right? 2018, Joe Burrow showed up here in June, went through summer workouts. They get into August. It's an open competition. 2 weeks into camp is when you saw McMillan and Narcisse leave. That was in August. So I'll remind you, Jaden Daniels already transferred, so he ain't going nowhere. If he leaves, he's got to go down to the JUCO level or FCS if he wants to play this year, which he could. He could. He could go down. He could leave, go to and walk into any FCS program today and be the starting quarterback. He could. But more likely, Jaden Daniels is here. We all know Walker Howard is redshirting, likely to redshirt this year, so he's not a flight risk. The questions are the other two guys. The questions are, if you get 2 weeks into fall and Jaden Daniels has emerged, does Miles Brennan stay? I don't know. It would be the same thing for Brennan as I just said with Daniels. He could leave as a graduate and go anywhere, but wherever he went, he'd have to walk in and be the day one starter. Now, maybe there's a situation like that. I'll remind you, last year in South Carolina, they were starting a grad assistant who they gave him a helmet and said, hey, bud, now you're our starting quarterback. That happens. Those situations do happen, and there could be one somewhere in the SEC or somewhere in college football where that opportunity would be there. But really, I think the guy that would be the one we'd all be concerned about leaving potentially would be Garrett Nussmeier. And if you're Brian Kelly, I think the sales pitch to Garrett Nussmeier is, hey, look, you got two veteran guys ahead of you this year. They're both gone next year. They're both going to be gone next year. So you have a clear path for it to be your team next year if you stay. And oh, by the way, each of the last 2 years, LSU's used 3 quarterbacks. Will he heed that? I don't know. But that's the one guy I would tell you that I'd be most concerned about it if he decided to jump at some point. And one more from Brian Kelly. Again, this was an interview Brian Kelly did with Garland Gill on Fox 8 New Orleans. You go to the Fox 8 website and see the whole interview there. It runs about 8 minutes. But the one other thing that I thought was interesting was when Brian Kelly was asked, it was the last thing, he was, what would make this first season a success? Understanding that, like we all do, what he inherited. But his answer is very telling because it continues to reinforce the reason why Brian Kelly's here.
Playing the game the right way. 4 quarters of football. A team that is competing. Look, I am much more about process, and the outcomes have always taken care of themselves. If this team plays hard, plays smart, plays with the right traits, we're going to win a lot of football games. And I don't know that I've ever gone into a season saying, hey, I think we're going to lose 3 or 4. I want to win every game we play. And we're going to prepare to win every game. But we have some holes, and then we're going to have to address through recruiting. I think everybody knows we had about 36, 39 scholarship guys when we went to play in the bowl game. But I think this is a football team that's poised to surprise some people, and I'm looking forward to it.
A football team poised to surprise some people. Brian Kelly has continued to say over and over again the reason he's here is to win a national championship. And he expects to win every game. And that expectation is something that he needs to instill in all of his players. And once he has a roster 1 to 85 that can compete with the best teams in the country, 1-85, and then they have that expectation of winning every game they play. That's when all of a sudden you've developed a program that has that expectation that you can win every game you play. That's not LSU today, but it will be sooner than later. All right, it's after further review. Brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Blue Bonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. Theantiagingclinics.com. Remember, all this month, about halfway through the month, all this month, laser hair removal by 2 treatments, get the 3rd free. So, gentlemen, you want to be done with that unsightly back or shoulder hair? You can do it. Actually, a lot of guys who work at the plants have to shave their beard. They get tired of shaving their beard every day, so they go do laser hair removal so they don't have to shave their beard every single day. Ladies, you want to never have to shave your legs again? Laser hair removal is an option. All this month, buy 2 treatments, get the 3rd free at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Blue Bond in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. All right, Tigers and the Pros to wrap up hour number 2 next.
AFR.
Come on over to Corval Toyota to pre-order your next vehicle, and you'll never pay over MSRP. Browse, reserve, pick up, and enjoy. It's that simple. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
The 2022 Smoke 'em If You Got 'em, presented by Mockler Beverage, is almost here. Smoke 'em If You Got 'em is an event that raises money to support military veterans and their families. Tickets are $100, and this year's event benefits the Special Forces Charitable Trust. Come enjoy live music, a grill station, a cigar station, a dessert station, a live and silent auction, and so much more. It's the 2022 Smoke 'em If You Got 'em fundraiser, presented by Mockler Beverage, Sunday, May 22nd at Bent 77. Learn more at smokeembr.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Visit Acura of Baton Rouge for attractive offers on the MDX.
after further review with Matt Moscona. Presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Wrapping up hour number 2. Glad to have you hanging out with us here on a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. Muso's out today, feeling a bit under the weather, so Cade Wazan, CV, the OG, has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
All right. How you feeling over there, CB?
Off to a good start. I was 50-50 on if I had the right open. So thank you, Lee Michaels. I'm glad that was correct.
Nailed it.
Yep. All right, so we start off in Major League Baseball. Alex Bregman, the salsa guy.
Hey!
0 for 3, but he had a walk and an RBI. And the Stros defeated the Nats 8-0 on Sunday.
Son of a bugger. Son of a bugger. The salsa guy. Reggie Bomb. You tried it?
I have not. I love salsa. My favorite snack is chips and salsa. For some reason, I haven't tried the Breggy Bomb. I need to go do that.
Oh.
Rouse's.
Oh, yeah, get by Rouse. What are we doing over here, CV?
Yeah.
I'll get you some. You like spicy?
Yeah.
Okay. Because they have another one that's...
Didn't he label it something kind of funny? It was like not as hot and this one hot? Or something like that?
Well, and one of them... So they're from... They're the recipes from a restaurant in New Mexico where he grew up. It's like this place that's known for their salsa and all that sort of stuff, and they basically collaborated to use that recipe to package it as Breggy Bomb. And his wife, or Alex's wife, Reagan, helped. One of them is like something lime. Like she likes lime in her salsa sort of thing.
Okay.
And that's the name of it. I'm forgetting the name off top. But anyway, go to Breggy Bomb. Get some Breggy Bomb salsa.
Austin Nola. He went 1 for 2 with an RBI, and his Padres, Paulie, beat the Braves 7-3 on Sunday.
Yeah.
Moving over to
By the way,
yep.
Shout out to Calic High. Division I state champs. Take that, Gordy.
Solid work. Solid work this year. A lot of good baseball teams in the area of Dutchtown. Just a little short. But yeah,
you gonna give Vanderbilt a shout out? The alma mater? Oh no, you're not an alma. You're not Vanderbilt, are you? Or were you?
Yeah.
VCHS.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah,
you looked at me kind of cross. They Vanderbilt beat U High yesterday to win the state championship in baseball.
Nothing new. Baseball is where our strong suit is.
I mean, that's a weird flex, CV, but okay. Go ahead.
I actually didn't know that they had won the state championship. So
by the way, that's Cade Wassan, the host of Louisiana Prep Weekly, Louisiana Prep Scoreboard. There you go.
Fair enough.
Congrats, though, CV. Your team won the state championship in baseball.
Terrier proud. USFL, Derek Dillon had 2 receptions for 52 yards and 1 touchdown. The Tampa Bay Bandits beat the Michigan Panthers 27-20 this weekend. The Bandits are now 3-2. They sit in third place, right behind the NOLA Breakers, mind you, in the South Division. So Tampa, of course, always looking up to New Orleans.
Yeah, I heard that South Division is really tough.
Yeah.
That's the word out there. Word on the street. Brutal.
Stallions are in first.
Yeah, really hard.
All right, and finally in the WNBA, Sylvia Fowles scored 16 points, 11 rebounds, and a steal, but the Minnesota Lynx did fall to the Chicago Sky, 82-78. I thought that's how they said the name of the league.
I got it. I got the reference, CV.
Fair enough. And that is Tigers in the Pros,
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. It is graduation season. If you want to thrill the grad in your life with a gift, you could certainly do so from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. Great selection of jewelry and watches. Great watches. You can check them out right now at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Send him or her off into graduation with a beautiful timepiece there from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. And if it is engagement season, if you're thinking about popping the question, as always, a beautiful diamond, and you get the Lee Michaels experience every time, no matter your budget. Just walk in. They do such a magnificent job at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Corporate in Bocage, the Mall of Louisiana, 9 locations in all. LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. CV, I think your mic is still on. I did hear I heard a rather sizable inhale. I'm just giving you a heads up. I would hate for you to have done or said something else not knowing that your mic was on. Good to see you over there, CB.
Thanks, Matt.
I'm serious. I love this. I love when CB. It's just like a throwback. You know what I mean? To a simpler time when CB comes in studio. All right, it's after further review. We'll get you caught up on national headlines. Sports Center's coming up here in just a few moments. A busy third hour. Do want to delve into the Sean Payton, Drew Brees news, and Dennis Allen recapping rookie minicamp for the New Orleans Saints. That's all coming up in hour 3. It's AFR presented by Relief Windows. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Don't you move. Sports Center's coming up. It is after further review.
AFR.
Man, I am so fired up. Last week, got my car back from a 5-month-long endeavor after being rear-ended on the bridge back in December. I would not recommend getting into a wreck. I just wouldn't do it. It wasn't my fault, but it still was a gigantic hassle. But if you are going to get into a wreck, which no one plans to do, driving a Volkswagen is just a great idea. 9 different IIHS top safety picks. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer is South Point Volkswagen. When you drive a Volkswagen, you know you're driving one of the safest vehicles on the road, no matter the make or the model. The Tiguan, which is the compact SUV, the Atlas, which is the 3-row 7-seater family SUV, which is what I drive, the Atlas Cross Sport, which takes out the third row, a little sleeker design on it. There's great options for any need at South Point Volkswagen. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. Shop them online at southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $5,000 off the new 2022 Wagoneer. We have Wagoneers in stock with $5,000 off. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. NFL officials are slated to meet with Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson this week. The league has been investigating Watson to determine if he violated its personal conduct policy. He's facing 22 civil lawsuits accusing him of inappropriate sexual conduct. Watson has denied all wrongdoing. NBA Celtics guard Marcus Smart dealing with a mid-foot sprain, questionable for the East Finals opener against the Heat tomorrow. Meantime, Miami's Kyle Lowry's out with a hamstring strain. Coverage 8 Eastern, ESPN Radio and ESPN TV. Then on Wednesday, Mavs and Warriors tip off the West Finals. Don't be surprised if Luka Doncic and company knock out Golden State, says Bally Sports Southwest Mavs analyst Derek Harper.
I like the Mavericks, man. I really do. I'm not just being a homer or whatever you want to call it. I think it's a good matchup for Dallas. And right now, if you're not expected to do anything, you do everything. Right? There's no pressure on the Mavericks.
Derek Harper on Barton Hahn. West Finals Game 1 Wednesday, 8:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio. Kentucky Derby runner-up Epicenter set today as the 6-5 morning line favorite for Saturday's Preakness Stakes.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you have in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Cade Wazan.
Is that Wazan? Wazan. It might be Wazan. I think it's Wazan. That's what I threw me. Go on.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Muso sick today. Hope my guy's feeling better. Hopefully he'll be back tomorrow. But Cade, pinch hitting in a pinch. We appreciate it. CV, do you want to? I feel like out of obligation every time you play that drop that we've got to do a reset on it for people who don't know what that is. Anyway, so fire away.
Yeah, so I was working at an ESPN radio station down in Houma, and was able to send some liners. This was probably, I guess, 14 years ago or so. I was able to send some liners to Mike and Mike to cut some stuff for the programming throughout the day, and tried my best to kind of spell my name phonetically and
it might be when Greenberg goes, might be Wazan.
Just that reel alone, like not even the actual satisfaction of how they eventually cut it. I had to save that, and through wherever the course of radio has taken me, I've kept that clip with me.
By the way, good for them for sending you the raw audio with all of the mess ups. I mean, wouldn't it be so? For those that don't know, when you're an affiliate, it's customary that you can have the national talent cut liners for the local shows that you hear throughout the day. For example, you might hear when Mike and Mike were on, or right now, I guess maybe Greeny.
Yeah.
It's hey, it's Greeny coming up at noon. It's Hunting Hill. Well, like he could have. I mean, how many would he have? CV like. He could have like 100 liners like that from stations all over the country, right?
Fairly
Affiliates.
generic. That's just mentioning his show and then insert name of station or name of host or something like that. Yeah.
And they got Wazan dumped on them, and it sounded like that.
For me, it was more satisfying to hear that conversational part of how they came to do the liner than how it actually was put together, like the final version of whatever aired. It was neat to hear a little bit of behind the scenes production aspect of it. So
it might be Wazan. Well, Drew Brees might be playing football again. That's unlikely. But if you didn't follow how all this played out over the weekend, So on Sunday, Andrew Marchand from the New York Post tweeted, and I guess the Post broke the story, that Drew Brees would not be returning to NBC. So that was the New York Post story on Sunday, was that Brees, after one season, would be done as a TV analyst at NBC. And this could be for a lot of different reasons why it was a one and done. If you missed Jeff Duncan with us last hour, who knows Drew Brees very well, he mentioned some of those possibilities. Drew wanting to call more games instead of doing studio work. There's not really those opportunities at NBC because they don't have but the Sunday Night Football window, and we already know who the Sunday Night Football team is. And if he continues to do Notre Dame games, well, there's a lot of travel. And if Drew was wanting to spend more time with his family, well, you get it. Well, that news breaks, and then Drew Brees, the funny part is that Drew Brees, before he even replied to that, got a lot of people's attention when he tweeted about Jarvis Landry and Tyrann Mathieu. Brees tweeted, "Man, signing Jarvis Landry and Tyrann Mathieu makes me want to come back and play again. Great additions, leaders, and players." Okay, so that got a lot of people maybe perked up, which is why when this tweet followed, it's gotten a lot of people talking. I'm literally in studio, and SportsCenter is on right now, and they just had Schefter talking about Dennis Allen's response to this tweet, which we'll get to in a moment. But first, the tweet. Drew Brees said on Sunday at 6:59 p.m., "Despite speculation from media about my future this fall, I'm currently undecided. I may work for NBC. I may play football again. I may focus on business and philanthropy. I may train for the pickleball tour, senior golf tour, coach my kids, or all of the above. I'll let you know." I'll put it to you this way. I doubt very seriously that the New York Post is wrong about Brees not returning. That report feels a lot like when Tom Brady retired. And Schefter reported that Brady was retiring. He made the decision, but he wanted to announce it how he wanted to announce it. And Schefter got the scoop on Brady's retirement, which ultimately he retired and then came back. And it feels similar here. Drew Brees very likely didn't want that leaked. It got leaked, so he put out that tweet that he put out the way he put it out. I do not believe that Drew Brees is going to play football again. There is certainly, I guess there's certainly that possibility that it could go the way that Gronk's retirement did, right? Gronk retired from football. He spent a year out. He got his body he didn't drink from the fountain of youth, but taking the year off allowed Gronk the opportunity to heal from a very physical brand of football that he plays, and he was never going to be the all-pro again that he once was. But it did allow him, at a point in his career where he was very clearly regressing at that point, to take off the 2019 season and then come back and be pretty good. He had 77 catches for 623 yards in 2020, and then comes back in 21 and has 89 catches for 802, which was the best season he had since 2017. So, again, not who he was when he was a consecutive and consistent All-Pro, but a better player than he was at the end of his time in New England. Maybe that year away gives Brees that, allows his body to heal, gives him a little bit of a rejuvenation. I just don't think that's where Brees is. When he stepped away, remember, it felt like Brees was stepping away after 2019 and then went to the Pro Bowl, got that juice, and decided, all right, we're going to give it one more go. I'm sorry, after 2020. No, I'm sorry, it was after 2019, came back for 2020. And we all know how, obviously, it ended the way it did in the COVID year. Again, it's speculative. I don't believe Drew Brees is going to play again, and it sounds like Dennis Allen is kind of aligned there. So today the Saints had their golf tournament, and Dennis Allen was asked by the media assembled there about Drew Brees and the comments that Drew Brees made. And CV, let's see if we could play this. This is the video is courtesy of Fletcher Mackle on Twitter. But Dennis Allen essentially says that he thinks the Brees comment was a joke. Can you play this? No, here. I'm playing it from my computer.
Kind of frenzy last night by saying he may want to play again. Did you laugh at that? Did you take that seriously at all, or just kind of smirk?
My wife's the one that told me about it because I don't follow social media. So I thought, well, that's interesting. That'll bring up some questions tomorrow at the golf tournament. So, yeah, but certainly, I think it was a comment made in jest, and we certainly hadn't had any conversations in that regard.
So, a comment made in jest. They hadn't had conversations in that regard. Mickey Loomis at the golf tournament also said he's not spoken to Brees. It's hard to take it seriously as anything other than Brees just everyone who knows him, Mickey Loomis, Dennis Allen, we had Jeff Duncan on last hour. Like, everyone who knows him basically is saying there doesn't seem any substance to him playing football again, which I would tend to believe. So, and the other odd part of this, doesn't it feel like the Saints, collective Saints fandom wants Drew Brees to stay retired? I mean, that seems to be the consensus on social media. It's not a lack of love or admiration for Drew Brees. It's understanding that it was over. That era was so beautiful, but it was punctuated. It didn't end how we wanted, but they tied the ribbon on top, and Drew Brees went off into retirement, and he got his farewell, and the Saints have moved on, and now they're committed to Jameis Winston for the next 2 years. And it feels like when you're starting to gain momentum forward in this post-Peyton Brees era, now you're going to stop that momentum and go backwards. It just feels I think that's why collectively Saints fans are looking at that saying, not in any way to be disrespectful to Drew Brees, but this is 43-year-old Drew Brees who's been out of football now for a year, and the franchise has moved on from him as a player, and that's okay. And it's good for him to move on to whatever is next as well. The thing that I'm most disappointed in, and maybe hope actually comes to fruition, is Sean Payton and Drew Brees getting to work together in a booth. Hear me out. So the Sean Payton news apparently is that he's going to work for Fox. And that Fox hasn't announced it yet, but that's the report, is that Sean Payton, Florio had this, that Payton's going to go work for Fox, and he'll be on Fox NFL Sunday as a fill-in for Jimmy Johnson, who's mostly been absent due to COVID, remotely during COVID. And so Sean Payton could fill in for Jimmy Johnson on site there and on set. I think that would be a woeful misuse of Sean Payton if you're using him for that show. Like, using Sean Payton, an NFL head coach, as a game analyst would be a far better use of his talent, his skill set, his knowledge, etc. You don't see many NFL head coaches become game analysts. That's why guys like John Gruden and John Madden have been so great in that role. Brian Billick was exceptional in that role as a game analyst for Fox because they know it. They know the players, they know the coaches, they know the referees. They see the game differently than all of us see. Like, I would love to see Sean Payton and Drew Brees together in a booth as the color analysts in a 3-man booth. I think that would be magnificent. I think that'd be great theater. And maybe if leaving NBC opens the door for Drew Brees to stay in television, maybe he can do a game with Sean Payton. That Fox would certainly have, more inventory for games, and it would. I think that would make too much sense. I don't know that it's going to happen, and nobody's asking my opinion. No, Fox isn't calling me, but how someone hasn't thought of that or tried to make that happen is quite surprising to me, considering all of the money and all of the effort sunken into creating these new teams and tandems for these marquee games, with Buck and Aikman going to ESPN, and obviously with Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit calling the Thursday night Amazon game. Why wouldn't someone try to pair Peyton and Brees in a booth together for this year to see how that went? We'll see what is next. All right, it's after further review. I do want to circle back. I'm going to circle back to Dennis Allen at the bottom of the hour. Because he did, when he met with the media, not the golf tournament, but over the weekend, kind of discuss Jarvis and Tyron and minicamp and all that sort of stuff. So we'll let you hear some nuts and bolts stuff from Dennis Allen at the bottom of the hour. Quick break. We talked at the start of the show, or in hour one, about Trey Holly, the four-star running back who committed to LSU. Brian Kelly got another commitment today, which I want to address when we come back. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Better coverage for less money. Stop overpaying to be underinsured. Y'all, we are almost to storm season. And last year, in the last couple of years, too many of us have gotten an education, an unwelcomed education on our homeowners insurance and what our named storm deductibles are. It's almost storm season again. Call Insurance Network of Louisiana. Let them shop independently for free to see if they can find you better coverage for less money. Again, it's not always just about saving money. It's that, and that happens often, and that sometimes there's numbers that I share with you that people save a lot of money, that's great. But so many times it's about getting properly insured. And never is that more evident than around storm season. 293-0450, 293-0450. Better coverage for less money. 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
This year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, front-to-back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to front-to-backboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front-to-Back Boat Service.
Visit Acura of Baton Rouge for attractive offers on the MDX.
with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Late ad, Chris Demouy, former Tiger pitcher, national champion, host of the 60 feet 6 inch LSU baseball pod, is going to join us in about 10 minutes. I want to ask him what he thinks Jay Johnson should do with the pitching staff moving forward into this Vanderbilt week and then into the postseason. So we appreciate that. We'll talk some LSU baseball with Demouy coming up here in just a quick minute. The LSU football Tigers actually landed another commitment today. So we talked about Trey Holly in hour number 1, if you missed it. Running back out of Union Parish, who is poised to break every record that Nick Brissett set in high school football, in Louisiana high school history, rushing yards, rushing touchdowns. The interesting thing for me anyway is at 5'8", 180, he just doesn't fit the build of running backs that Brian Kelly had at Notre Dame. We ran through a list of all the guys that were his leading rushers at Notre Dame, and the smallest one was Kyron Williams at 5'9", 199 just this past year. But largely you've had bigger backs, the 6 foot 220 range. So that would kind of more fit Corey Kiner, who just left the program. So I'll be interested to see how they use the running backs this year, because that'll be very telling maybe how Mike Denbrock and Brian Kelly want to use the backs in their offense moving forward. But Trey Holly's a top 10 running back in the country. He's a top 10 player in Louisiana for this year, and they got him on board on Sunday. And then today, Monday, Dalen Austin out of Long Beach, California, went public with his commitment to LSU. He's a 4-star defensive back, 6'1", 180. He actually thank you, CV. Actually told 247 Sports that he committed to the staff when he was here the week before the spring game, but hadn't gone public with it yet, was waiting for the right opportunity to do so, and figured now was the right time. So Dalen Austin becomes the 6th commit for LSU's 2023 class. He's the number 143 overall prospect in the country. He's the 16th best cornerback in the country, and he's the 11th player in the state of California. Had offers from Michigan State, Penn State, Alabama. It's said that he knew Brian Kelly when Brian Kelly was recruiting him at Notre Dame. Developed a really good relationship with Robert Steeples. You know what I like most? I was reading through the piece up at 247 with Austin committing, and he was here in Baton Rouge the week before, like the week of the spring game. And he did not stay, though, for the spring game. And here's the quote, again, from Austin to 247 Sports. He said, why he didn't go to the spring game. He said, that was a business trip for me. I didn't want to go to the spring game because I knew there would be a ton of recruits, and I wanted to spend as much time as I could with the coaches. I wanted to watch practice and get as much one-on-one time with the coaches as I could, and it worked out great. Seeing them practice, I saw they don't have a ton of corner depth, and I'll be able to come in and compete for early playing time, and I'm excited about that opportunity. I love that. It's a guy who recognized he wasn't here to be caught up in the hoopla of the recruiting process. He wanted to maximize his time. Said he'll still take his 5 official visits, which I respect. If you're a high school kid and you get to take 5 trips on a Power 5 school's dime and go see different campuses in different parts of the country, you should absolutely do that. You should always keep your options open because you never know what may happen. So I would completely encourage him to do that and go take his visits. But the 6th commit now for LSU is Dalen Austin, a cornerback out of California. So Brian Kelly, of course, is going to put the fence around Louisiana. That's his goal. But having been at Notre Dame where you had to recruit nationally, you had to cast a wide net, he's got connections all over the country to bring in prospects like Dalen Austin, who says he's excited about playing for DBU. So another one committed here to LSU. All right, it's after further review. And by the way, brought to you by Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. I got this text on our Hudco thread just a bit ago, and it was there was a lady in Lakeview down in New Orleans who had IDA issues, called 6 companies. No one would call her back to come out to her home except one. Hudco Roofing, who will be there tomorrow morning. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. There was hail in the greater New Orleans area last night. So no matter where you are in Louisiana, Hudco will service you. From Shreveport, Bossier to Alexandria, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Lake Charles, no matter where you are, we'll come to you. But specifically the New Orleans area, because there was hail last night from marble size to ping pong ball to golf ball size hail reported all over the New Orleans area. If that was you, give us a call. Like, I would do that right now. 364-1007, 225-364-1007, 364-1007, or HudcoRoofing.com. Let us come do a free, no obligation roofing inspection. Y'all, you know storm season is coming. You might have had roof damage caused by that hailstorm that you just don't know. Don't find out when a storm comes and you get water in your house. Let us come do a free, no obligation roofing inspection right now. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. Or give us a buzz, 364-1007. Commercial, residential, repairs, replacements, soft wash, we do it all. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. All right, it's after further review. Plus some LSU baseball with national champion Chris Demouy coming up here in just a quick minute. Talked about the LSU commitment there with Dalen Austin. I don't have a ton of time now because we added Demouy, but I'll probably go deeper into this tomorrow. So rookie minicamp was this weekend for the New Orleans Saints, and Dennis Allen did meet with the media. So you got to see you got to see Olave, you got to see Penning, you got to see your draft picks. And they also talked about the veterans they've added in Tyron and Jarvis. But first, here's what Dennis Allen had to say about what they were looking to learn in rookie minicamp this weekend.
Some of it is just athletic skill set. Some of it is how well they can learn and retain information, how quickly they can process information on the field, and where they're at from a fundamental and technique standpoint.
And what about Chris Olave and what stood out here despite the small sample size?
You said it, small sample size, but just, same things that we saw on tape. A guy that is really fast, smooth in transition, good route runner. And look, ultimately, he's the type of character person that we wanted to bring into the building. And I think that's as important as anything. And,
of course, the other first-round pick was Trevor Penning. And one big question is he ready to play on the left side of the line as a rookie?
No, he's starting off over on the left-hand side. And then, obviously, we're going to evaluate things as we go along.
Do you feel better about maybe the idea of leaving Ryan where he is if you can play him on the left side?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've gotten a lot of work with Ram on the right-hand side. So, being able to plug and play. And look, we've got James Hurst too. So, I mean, we feel pretty good about where we're at offensive line-wise.
All right, Dennis Allen. Again, he talked plenty when he met with the media. Talked about Jarvis, talked about Tyron, how that secondary looks with Tyron back there. Got a lot of it. We'll have to punt that to tomorrow because when we come back, we'll talk to Chris Demouy, former Tiger National Championship pitcher. I want to talk about what LSU does, how they manage the staff this weekend, then moving forward as well with a lot seemingly up in the air. A little baseball chat with Demouy next. It's AFR.
AFR.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The 2022 Smoke 'em If You Got 'em, presented by Mockler Beverage, is almost here. Smoke 'em If You Got 'em is an event that raises money to support military veterans and their families. Tickets are $100, and this year's event benefits the Special Forces Charitable Trust. Come enjoy live music, a grill station, a cigar station, a dessert station, a live and silent auction, and so much more. It's the 2022 Smoke 'em If You Got 'em fundraiser, presented by Mockler Beverage, Sunday, May 22nd at Ben 77. Learn more at smokeembr.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $5,000 off the new 2022 Wagoneer. We have Wagoneers in stock with $5,000 off. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Our Tigers get swept at home by Ole Miss over the weekend. It was bad, objectively, all the way around. Our buddy Chris Demouy, former Tiger National Championship pitcher, hosted the 60 feet. I'll get it right. 60 feet, 6-inch LSU pod. I know, sorry about that. Good enough to join us for a couple of minutes. How are you, Demouy?
Doing good, Scone. Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. I caught the pod today, and I thought you did a really good job pulling together sort of a synopsis of the weekend. But let me ask you more from a player's perspective between the ears. You come off a weekend where you had so much on the line. You get swept. Where is LSU as a team, would you think, emotionally right now coming off of that weekend?
That's a great question. And when I have myself, not knowing what's going on in that locker room, in that clubhouse, hopefully they had some sort of team meeting where it's just the players, and I think it's something to where it's so bad you almost want to burn the film, right? Burn the tape, and you realize nothing went right, and you just have to flush it and move on and realize you still have a chance to do really good things the rest of this year. It doesn't get any easier by traveling to Vanderbilt. Then you have a quick turnaround with the SEC tournament, and you're not – I'm assuming you're going to play on Tuesday, but you just have to pull together as a team. To me, that's the biggest thing. You have to look your brothers in the eye and say, look, we got to strap it on and we got to go get this thing right here, and you just got to buckle down and get after it.
Well, I hope they can avoid a Tuesday game, that single elimination day at the bottom, for the bottom four teams. God, let's hope that it goes a little better this weekend than it did this past, but it certainly would be a possibility. You mentioned on the pod today, and I want to kind of lean into pitching, about Hilliard and how you thought this would be a bounce back week for him, and it didn't really happen, and pitch selection might be a part of that. But you were a guy that relied heavily on the breaking ball as well. Can you explain when you're watching Mikhail pitch when you feel like you know if he's going good or if he's not?
To me, I think I can tell he's going good when he's throwing some fastballs for strikes early in the game. I think when he gets – and it's different from what I was. I was a reliever. So I had the luxury of maybe – I didn't even go through the order once. So I had the luxury of really relying on a breaking ball, and I could be 50-50 fastball, breaking ball. But I think with him, you've seen at times this year where it feels like – I'm not charting his pitches, but it feels like he's 70% breaking ball. And as I mentioned today, he got when he gets into trouble, they rely so much on his breaking ball to where it's at times up to 10 or 12 pitches in a row. And I just think for him, for any starter, even if you don't have a dominant fastball, it's still college baseball. You can still throw 87 down the middle at times, and Elko's going to ground out. Now, you don't want to live there, but I just think they've lost confidence in his fastball the last couple weekends. You've seen his pitch count go high early in the games, and he's had to battle out of jams. He's had to battle out of jams against Georgia, against Alabama, and he's done a good job. But when you just rely so much on that breaking ball, and look, the scouting report's out. Everybody knows it's coming. But when you can sit back and eliminate a fastball from a hitter's mentality, that just makes it so much easier for those guys to hit.
Yeah. What should they do with the Game 2 starter?
That's a great question. I think we've all been asking that to ourselves or to each other the past couple weeks.
Yeah.
If it was me, why not? I'd go Ty Floyd. I thought he was going to start this past weekend. It was basically a start, I guess, with the rain delay, and they start the game. They start the game from the 4th on Saturday morning. I would just go Ty Floyd. The last 2 outings, he's looked good to me, and why not give him a chance right now? And then I guess you just go Hasty. He was basically your starter for Game 3. I'm not quite sure what went on there, but
we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, I figured we would. But I would go Floyd. I think he's earned it, right? He's thrown like 10 innings the past 2 weekends. He's thrown well. I mean, I think he gave up 2 hits against Ole Miss, and Ole Miss crushed LSU's pitching this weekend. And you've seen, to me, it's been the changeup. Fastball and breaking ball could still be a little inconsistent, but that changeup for me came out of nowhere, and that has the ability to neutralize some left-handed hitters, and I think that's made him that much better.
Okay. Chris Demouy is with us, former Tiger pitcher, national champion. Host of the 60 feet 6 inch LSU baseball podcast. Subscribe up on Apple or Spotify or YouTube channel as well. The Twitter account is at 60FT60IN LSU pod. You go give him a follow there as well. All right. So, my thought, Demouy, would have been, Dutton has been a guy that can get you 9 or 12 outs on Sunday, and Mikhail's your Friday guy. Right. So why not leave Dutton on Sunday and let Hasty pitch Saturday? And I understand if you want him out of the bullpen, great, you can use multiple games, but Demouy, you got to have a lead to get to him in multiple games, and you didn't even have that this weekend. So why not Hasty Game 2 and keep Dutton Game 3?
I don't have a problem with that. I don't think that's a bad idea either. I just I don't know what you do after what happened on Sunday. The kid goes out there, he throws 1 pitch. Obviously, it was pre-planned. I don't know if it was 1 pitch pre-planned or 1 batter.
It was 1 batter. Yeah, he was just going to throw to bench.
So that makes zero sense to me, and I may be revoking my purple and gold card here right now.
No, it's good. It's what people want to hear.
It makes zero sense to me. So I'm with you. Look, I don't have a problem starting Hasty. I think he's been great out the pen. But, yeah, if he's going to go 4 or 5, and he's shown he can do that, as you've mentioned, he's done very well, and he settled into the game on Sunday, I have no problem with him throwing Game 2 and leaving Dutton in Game 3. But then what do you do if you have the same game plan for Dutton again on Game 3? You go with Collins, who's another righty who's very similar, who may not have quite the stuff as Dutton, because now Hasty's burned. Floyd's another righty. So I don't know what you do in that instance, because if you throw Hasty in Game 2, then he's done.
Yeah.
Assuming he goes, like you said, 4 or 5, which he's capable of doing.
I feel like we've and Chris Demouy with us. And by the way, if you missed it, in Game 3, Sam Dutton started through 1 pitch. It's literally the shortest outing in the history of baseball. It's tied for the shortest outing in the history of baseball. He got through 1 pitch. It got doubled off the wall, and they lifted him. And Jay Johnson said afterwards it was gamesmanship because he didn't want Ole Miss to know what he was doing. So Ole Miss stacked the lineup with lefties, thinking Dutton's going, the righty. Well, he throws 1 pitch, and then they go get the lefty Hasty, who then, of course, pitched 4 innings after that. So I'm with you. But the gamesmanship part feels to me like what Jay Johnson and Jason Kelly kind of feel like they've had to do all year because they haven't had the obvious answers. Do you feel like there's a fine line where you're managing or over-managing? Can you remember times when you all ever got into spots like that where you didn't have an obvious answer as a starter, and so you kind of had to piece it together that way?
No, the game was just different than, they didn't have all the analytics, all the statistics. You may have seen some of that stuff in the big leagues with lefty-lefty matchups, but it hasn't gotten to where it is now, to where you have openers. But I agree with you, though. Sometimes I think it's paralysis by analysis, right? They're so into the analytics that, and a buddy of mine were talking about this today. Look, Riley Cooper and Hasty, they got out right-handed batters in high school and in college. So it doesn't mean a lefty can only face a lefty and they can't get righties out, and vice versa, right? A right-handed pitcher can't face a left-handed hitter. So sometimes I think that stuff's overblown, it's overmanaged, but you got to trust the fact that they know their team, they know their pitchers, and obviously they're going to do anything to win. They've shown that. They'll pull guys mid-count, and it's worked out for them. But with Coach Bartman, me and a couple of guys in the bullpen like Brian Doherty and other people, we were able to go 2 or 3 innings. We'd come in for the starters, and we'd close it out. It was just a different game, and he operated a little bit differently. But sometimes I question some of the analytics as well. I believe what he has to say, but I looked at the lineups, and the lineups on Saturday and Sunday look the same to me. Yeah. So I'm just going to leave it at that.
I hear you, man. It's just they were going so good, but in an effort to find a replacement, an option for Game 2 with money, it feels like they've affected Friday and Sunday as well. So I don't know the look. I'm just a guy sitting on the radio, but it's. This weekend kind of has you really questioning, and you got an unenviable task ahead. So as we're short on time, let me ask you about going to Vanderbilt, knowing really, the folks that I've talked to that are close to selection committee members with that process have said, look, LSU's got to get to 16 wins. That means you got to go win 2 in Vanderbilt, or you're going to have to go make some noise in Hoover, one way or the other. So quick turnaround here, with a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. What's the thought here, the approach with the quick turnaround and what you do?
To me, they're going to win tomorrow night, I think. That shouldn't be a problem. But I think going up there, I think it all starts, to be honest, it's a lot of pressure to put on the kid. I think it starts with Hilliard on Thursday. I think he sets the tone. If he's able to kind of find some of that mojo that we saw a couple weeks ago where we knew what to expect, and he's a little bit different, a little more consistent than he has been the first 3 weekends. I think it starts with him. And the other thing, too, they have got to find a way to string some hits together. They cannot live and die off the 2- and 3-run home run. They've got to find a way to manufacture some runs, however that is. And they didn't do that this weekend. They had 0 2-out RBIs coming off of Alabama, where they had a ton of 2-out RBIs. Yeah. So to me, it starts with Hilliard. I think the back end of the bullpen is going to be fine. They'll bounce back. But they've got to find some other people to hit just a little more. You know, you need more from Doty, more from Joe Barry. You need more consistency from McManus and Thompson. You know, you just can't rely on Cruz and Pearson and Morgan every now and then. It's got to be a collective effort from here on out. But until whatever happens with Barry and Dugas, I've been traveling. I don't know what's up with Dugas. So
yeah, no, I mean, no update yet. But you know, it's K. Doty obviously has been in a funk the last 2 weeks. But I mean, you know this as well as it's baseball. Every hitter in the history of the game has gone through a slump. It's unfortunate that for Doty, his has coincided with Jacob Berry's injury. When you really need someone there to protect, you know, Gavin, or to protect Dylan Cruz in the lineup.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, but you know, Vanderbilt's up and down too, right? They're 14-13. You know, they just beat Arkansas, but they present another challenge. I just looked. I mean, Enrique Bradfield's like 40 for 40 on stolen bases this year, so they're going to present some challenges. But it's not like they're going in there and they're playing Tennessee, you know.
Well, the Thursday night matchup is going to be a fifth-year senior against a freshman. Vandy starting Devin Futrell, freshman now. Who's a lefty, Demouy, but I mean, he just went and beat Connor Nolan, senior at Arkansas this past weekend. Yeah. So, I mean, Vanderbilt has never struggled for a lack of arms or talent on the mound, and he's just kind of, I guess, the next one. But LSU's going to have an opportunity against a freshman on Thursday there at Hawkins Field in Nashville. Hey, when's the preview pod going to come out?
It'll probably drop. It'll be Thursday morning.
All right. Make sure y'all go subscribe up. Again, it's if you go to Twitter, it's at 60 feet 6 inch LSU pod at 60FT 60IN LSU pod on Twitter. Make sure you go. The links are there to subscribe on if you want the audio podcast on iTunes or Spotify, or if you go to the YouTube channel. So. Great work there. Former LSU pitcher Chris Demouy does a really good job at the pod. If you want some LSU baseball coverage, you can get it there. All right, Demouy, we appreciate you, man. Thanks for jumping aboard. We'll be listening on Thursday.
Sounds great. Thanks, Cone. Anytime.
You got it, man. We appreciate it. All right, it's after further review. I should mention also Demouy is a Cali High alum. Congrats to the Bears on winning the Division I state championship, beat John Curtis. Those two teams played for the state championship in baseball 2017 or 2018. And Curtis had a great day that day. No-hit Catholic. It was phenomenal. But congrats to the Bears on their state championship. And not only to Catholic, but to all the teams. I know U High locally here in Baton Rouge played for a state championship as well. Came up short against Vanderbilt Catholic. But congrats to all the teams, man. All the teams that made it that far, made a great run in the postseason. All the young guys that got to make some memories. So congrats to all of you on just a great experience that you'll remember for the rest of your lives. All right, it's after further review. Otter Locks to wrap it up next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Pluckers Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. 24 flavors, actually now 26 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV. As a matter of fact, I had Pluckers for lunch today. I want to remind you, you can eat clean at Pluckers if you want. I had the chicken Cobb salad. It's a great option. It's just big, thick chicken breasts on top of a gorgeous bed of lettuce with fresh avocado. It's great. Give it a try. It's at Pluckers, Nicholson or Bluebonnet, or tonight and every Monday. Just go eat all you can eat wings every Monday at Pluckers. Pay one low price. They'll keep serving up award-winning jumbo chicken wings until you say no mas. That's at Pluckers. Nicholson just south of campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV, all-you-can-eat wings tonight and every Monday at Pluckers. Where? If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've got that blue sky. I've got that sunshine.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows. One thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Bocage Barbershop in Bocage Village, serving the Bocage, Goodwood, and Town Center area since 1959.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Ottfather himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
Doing pretty good, Matt. How about you?
Well, doing well. I had just a total split. I had the two home teams in the NBA yesterday, played the NHL games, the Penguins and the Flames yesterday, split. So looking for some winners today, man.
I know. I split them as well yesterday. So but I got a big Boston. Took Boston, and I said this on the show from Rapinos on Friday. They're 10-1 to win the whole thing before. And I would just figured if they could go to Milwaukee, win Game 6, they were going to win Game 7. So I got them at 10-1. They're now plus $2 or plus $2.25 to win the whole thing. So we got that in a nice spot there. How about the Philadelphia Phillies? 1 out away from 4-game sweep in Chavez Ravine against the Dodgers. That was happening. Went to go visit Skip Bertman at their show at Sammy's last night, and he goes, "What you doing?" I got action, Skip. About to take this thing at the bottom of the ninth. So it was good to see him and Cano and the another former player that played for him at Miami yesterday over at Sammy's. That's a baseball. Bunch. No Cardinals and Mets. They have been postponed. So that was an interesting line. Mikolas against Trevor Williams. I mean, way better numbers. But in Mets, we're still favorites, but they scratched that. And Alcantara on the Marlins, they are already down to the Nationals 1-0. They want to consider some in-game on the Marlins as they will probably come back and make a run at it. How about the Astros are they've won 12 of 13 and underdogs tonight at Fenway Stadium against Whitlock. Whitlock is a very good pitcher for the Red Sox, but he only goes an average of 3 innings per start. So you're going to have 6 innings of bullpen in all likelihood. Odorizzi's not great, but the lineup is hitting really strong. Looks too good to be true, almost. I'll take it. I'll take the hot bats. Houston, by the way, their last 6 wins, all by the run line as well. So they took care of Minnesota this past weekend.
Which are, I'm sorry, so Houston money line?
No, Houston money line.
Got
Houston
it.
money
Okay.
line coming back plus a little bit. And then Anaheim, we want to talk about a hot team as well. And so, Ohtani hit his 100th career home run on Saturday night. Then he followed it up with his first at-bat yesterday with another
Oh, we didn't give you the
home run.
minute. Sorry. We got 30 seconds. Sorry.
Okay. Anaheim and Houston. Anaheim and Houston tonight. And I've got Seattle as well. Three picks.
All right. Where are you, Otter?
Spokane Hub.
Oh,
Went to
yeah.
Rouge. Yeah, Andy went to Rouge today, so he's in transit over here. Can't get his Monday straight, so he'll be joining us shortly over here at Spokane Hub.
All right, Otter. We appreciate it. By the way, they're not the Anaheim Angels and haven't been for like a decade. So we'll work on it, though.
New Jersey next.
Get out of here. Thank you, Otter. All right. Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us in Baton Rouge. If you're not in Baton Rouge, online at 1045ESPN.com. CV, thanks for pinch hitting. Paulie, thanks. See ya.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about GMFS Mortgage, GMFSmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans, they do it all over at GMFS Mortgage, and it is the time. Y'all, we're into spring. We're heading toward the summer. This is when the home market gets cranked up. It's when people are transferring after the school year. If you're transferring jobs, if you're moving to a new town, this is the time. So get pre-qualified by calling a local loan officer at GMFS Mortgage. GMFS is Louisiana's largest local lender. There is no Louisiana lender that does more business than GMFS Mortgage. Billions of dollars, more than $2 billion in loans closed. Hundreds of thousands of Louisiana residents have changed their life, and I'm in that number. You can be as well. GMFSmortgage.com to find that local loan officer near you and get that process started today. GMFS Mortgage.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Kids have staked out their place at Ochsner Medical Complex The Grove, where more than 30 pediatricians and pediatric specialists are all conveniently located under one roof, so you can spend less time driving and more time keeping your kids well. Yes! It's no wonder kids call dibs at The Grove. Ochsner Health Center for Children.